Yes, we've made it to the weekend. Nice to have you aboard on another spectacular fall day. We got a weekend of college football that we can talk about, many games that are being played. We did get 15 that were canceled, but we know we have a whole bunch, including the Tigers and Stephen F. Austin. We will talk about that. And, in fact, we learned today that the Tigers' football schedule has once again been reshuffled. And I give the American Athletic Conference a tip of the cap. They are doing everything they can. Mike Oresko was on with Greg and Eli on middays and explaining how they are going the extra mile to try and get in every possible important game that they can. And so Memphis still is in the mix, although I think we ought to just make Tulsa the second team because they're clearly the luckiest team maybe in the history of America, certainly in America this year.
Yeah, they had a lot of bad luck last year.
They did. Is that not, seriously, I was thinking that last night when that Hail Mary got caught. I'm going, if any program is owed, it's this one.
They were due, and it was a crusher for Willie Fritz and Tulane.
Willie can't win a big game.
That was a fun game to watch. I know a lot of people would say boring for most of it. I mean, until 5 minutes to play, it was, 0-0?
Right. Well, I think it was less than 5 minutes to play where they started scoring. But
it was a defensive game, and we're not used to that anymore.
No. Well, and, really in the beginning of the game, they missed three field goals, but teams marched down. They just couldn't punch it in.
Yeah.
And then
I watched every play of it. I was into that game.
I was into both. I was watching Seattle and Arizona. That was another good game. When it came down to the last play, this time Murray didn't make the play. In fact, he got sacked before he could get rid of the ball.
I think he was hurt early in that game.
There's no question in my mind. But let me get back for a minute.
Yeah,
this reshuffle
news.
Yeah, and we could have more before the day is out. But as far as the football reshuffle for the U of M goes, it was supposed to be originally Memphis going to Tulane. Then it was switched to Navy. Then it was back to Tulane yesterday. Well, guess what? November the 28th, a week from tomorrow, Memphis will be in Annapolis. So I will be on my way on Friday through Baltimore to go to Navy and Marine Stadium, which is a place I really enjoy being. And the Tigers will play at a big game against Navy, and that could be their sixth win. They'll probably be favored to win that game, so we'll see how that unfolds. You got to take on Stephen F. Austin. We'll get into that a little bit later, but you got to win that game first, and then you see what happens. Then, on the 5th, they were supposed to play Houston at home. That has now been changed. That is when the Tigers will now travel to New Orleans, and they will play Tulane. So after this game, they are on the road for 2 weeks in Annapolis and then in New Orleans to take on Tulane on the 5th. And then the final game of the year, or regular season, I should say, will be at home against the Houston Cougars, and that game now will be on the 12th. So you are playing 4 straight weeks. 2 of those are at home. 2 of those are on the road. And it's been a total reshuffle. But if Memphis wins out, there is still an outside shot that they can be in that championship game. But things have to go their way. Tulsa's got to get beaten.
Yeah, they do. And now we're pending men's basketball schedule news, and I think we know the Saturday, December
12th and 5th. The 5th is supposed to be
at Ole Miss.
At Ole Miss, and then the 12th.
So that would interfere for you. You'd be in
instead of being able to do like a morning football game, because it was originally going to be the Houston game on the 5th, instead of doing a morning game there, or really the beginning of the year, that was going to be a championship game day. Of course, that all moved. But once this thing got established, that could have been a morning game Memphis football, an afternoon or evening basketball game. But that is not going to be the case now.
And 2 good basketball games that will have conflict. The State Farm game in Atlanta.
Yep.
And now the Ole Miss game. So two big-time opponents. But we'll take it as however we can get it.
Well, those games will still be played, and fans will have a the opportunity to watch it, and that'll be great. And those are two great opponents for the U of M, to be able to play Ole Miss and to play Auburn. And remember, there was supposed to be Georgia in this mix. There was supposed to be Texas A&M in this mix in Sioux Falls,
Tennessee,
and there was supposed to be Tennessee. There were going to be 5 SEC teams, 4 for sure, but a 5th one if A&M beat West Virginia, and they were going to play Memphis then. So you could have had 5 SEC teams on your schedule. That would have been really terrific, but obviously that is not the case. And with the Tigers leaving Monday, and everybody is telling me at this point, and Jason Munns will be with us, who is the beat writer for the Commercial Appeal of the Tiger basketball team. Everybody so far is telling me that tournament is on. They are still going to that tournament. I'm not sure I'll believe it until I see that airplane Monday morning take off with the basketball team. But that is
Dave, I got to see the basketball thrown in there by the Zebras to believe it. Even the plane taking off may not do it. I hate to be that cynical.
Well, that's true. I've been on planes that have gone, landed, and turned around, and that was for football at Central Florida. So crazy things have happened like that in the past. That was a hurricane deal, and obviously this is a COVID deal. To the best of my knowledge, too, Brett, and I've looked today, I cannot see a replacement for Creighton in the Sioux Falls crossover tournament.
All I've seen is rumors, but I think they are.
Oh,
I think they will find.
Give me some rumors. I haven't even gotten that.
It's everything. I mean, you fill in the blank, and you could put that team in there. I could tweet right now that I hear Texas Rio Grande Valley is going to be in there, and it's about as corroborated as a lot of other stuff we're seeing.
Is that Damon Stoudemire's team? Is he Rio Grande Valley?
His team's Pacific.
Oh, Pacific. That's right. That's right. I have no idea. You know, I've also heard that if they can't find anybody, the team that Creighton was supposed to play first round will get a bye.
Dave, throw out right now Damon Stoudemire, Pacific in South Dakota. I mean, what the heck? That's about what a lot of people are doing anyway.
I would tell you.
No, you're not going to do that.
Here's what I am.
I know why.
I'm shocked that Damon Stoudemire is still at Pacific. I think that guy's a big-time coach. I think he's a big-time coach.
I think the halt to the season, the abrupt stoppage of the season, probably hurt him last year.
I'm sure it did. Because remember, we had him on, and they were starting to play. They were starting to catch on. Make a little noise in some tournament, whatever one you go to, and that always helps at coaching carousel time. Oh, yeah. I got to tell you, I learned today, and this comes from one of the sports historians of Memphis, from John Ganazzo. We thank him for this. Today is a birthday, and you'll be one of the people that actually will know who this guy is. But he's probably the most recognized football player in the history of Memphis. He's the only Memphian inducted into the National Football Foundation Hall of Fame. Happy birthday, of course, heavenly birthday, as they say, goes out to Memphis Bill, Major William Neely Mallory, who was born on November the 20th, 1901. So he's 119 years old today, but I didn't realize he's the only guy in the National Football Foundation Hall of Fame. You know, he played at Yale. Captain of the nationally ranked undefeated Bulldogs football team.
I bet you Barrett Jones makes it someday.
Well, he could. Oh, he should.
He's from Memphis.
Yeah, he should. He'd only be the second. Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mallory Gym, that's named after him. There's also a building, I think, on Yale that was named after him.
Mallory's an old and very prominent name in Memphis. I mean, from the beginning.
Yep. Anyway, happy birthday. Thought we'd give you a little history today. Some good
Dave,
news.
with what we're thinking, maybe some breaking news. You want me to get a little head start on stuff?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, listen. This weekend, Tennessee's game against Auburn tomorrow. It was already big. Oh, great rivalry. But I'm about to make the stakes even bigger because FanDuel Sportsbook is adding to the action with a special Spread the Love line boost. For every 250 fans who bet on Tennessee to cover, FanDuel will move the point spread by 1 point in Tennessee's favor. So as long as you keep betting Tennessee, the more points Tennessee will keep on getting. Last week, Vandy and Kentucky, they did this. Vandy went off at plus 87.5. And best of all, FanDuel will pay you based on whatever the line is at kickoff, so you don't have to wait to get in on the action. FanDuel giving away money with this offer. I mean, literally handing you money. Tell your friends so the line gets even bigger. I mentioned last weekend in the NBA, the Philadelphia 76ers opened at plus 8.5. It went off at plus 59.5. Last year in college basketball, Indiana opened at 2.5, ended up at plus 118.5. The three of us and two more could cover plus 118.5. So if you already have a FanDuel Sportsbook account, just look for the Spread the Love market to place your bet. And if you've been holding out, what are you waiting for? Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started. Must be 21 and present in Tennessee. Must wager in designated crowdfunding market. Max wager $50. Payout minus 110 issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Terms apply. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789.
Brett?
This hour our show. Yes.
Hold on. Before you do that, I just have a suggestion here. I think for our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast, we should go by the FanDuel line on that Tennessee-Auburn game.
No, I don't know if we can do all that. We're going to pick that game.
Why not? It's a little ring. This is the kind of thing, the gimmicky thing that you love.
It's a gimme win for everybody, though.
Yeah, that's
kind of like last night when we had the group lock on Tulane.
Boy, by half a point.
Oh, and poor Drew in the real world.
I know.
Lost by half point.
Oh, I know.
Oh, anyway, I digress. This hour, poor Drew. Poor Drew. Man,
how many times?
Tulane invented ways to cost me money.
Can I ask you, in a month, what's the over-under on us going, poor Drew?
At least 15?
Oh, man.
That could be another that could be another FanDuel bet right there.
That in the old days, that was tear the knobs off your TV type loss.
Oh my gosh!
Now there aren't any knobs on the TV.
There's
this
no way
show
you could
brought to
lose
you every day by Lexus of Memphis. There's no way. Tulane invented that way.
No.
But hadn't that been Willie Fritz? I mean, come on. I love you, Willie. But
no, it is.
You got to give me more.
I'm telling you,
that's
him.
You give us cotton candy, and we need sirloin steak.
I think what we see is what he is. I've been telling you that now for a little bit. And you know, I was the first one to tell you that.
That's not an easy job, though, but.
No, and he's done a good job, but every time it's up there for the measurement, he falls. He fails. I hate to say it, but he does.
That's true. Thank you so much to Lexus of Memphis for bringing you this hour of our show every day. They are at 2600 Ridgeway, and they are online at lexusofmemphis.com, and they are the only Lexus dealership in Memphis. I know they love the Vols tomorrow, no matter what. Give them a call at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity November and December sales event to remember. Great offers on all 2020 models and always special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. 2021's rolling in, and you'll be looking and driving in some style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Story of the day.
I'm going to give you the top story of the day because it has just come out hot off the press.
Did we delay long enough?
You did it. I mean, you could not have done it better than you did. Perfect timing. The Tiger basketball schedule has been released. St. Mary's, the first game, November the 25th. That's next Wednesday, 3:30.
No, we're not doing that yet.
Not yet. Then the winner of the West Virginia Northern Iowa game. And then on the 27th, it could be South Dakota State, Utah State, Wichita State, and a team to be announced.
That's Pacific. It could be Pacific, Dave.
There we go. Pacific. I'm going to put it in there.
You're not that irresponsible.
So that is the tournament in Sioux Falls. Then on December the 2nd, a Wednesday night at home, first home game, Arkansas State. As we mentioned on the 5th, at Ole Miss. On December the 8th, now this one I didn't see coming, Tuesday the 8th, Mississippi Valley State at home. Wow. Then the 12th, Auburn, and that game will be in Atlanta at what they're calling the Holiday Hoops Giving. Then, so that's on the 12th. Then you got 4 days on a Wednesday at Tulane. Then on Tuesday, the 22nd,
Conference.
Tulsa. Then on the 30th, on a Wednesday, USF at home. January the 2nd is Saturday at Temple. It's all Saturday, Wednesday. At Temple on the 2nd, on the 6th at UCF. So you're talking about back-to-back road games. Then on the 13th, SMU, that's a Wednesday. On the 16th of January at Tulsa, that's a Saturday. Tuesday, Wichita State at home at FedEx Forum on January 19th. On January 23rd, a Saturday at East Carolina. On the 27th, a Wednesday at SMU, so back-to-back road games. Then you got back-to-back home games on a Wednesday, Sunday, February 3rd and February 7th. That would be UCF and East Carolina. Then you got another home game on the 11th, a Thursday, so you got 4 days off, and Cincinnati comes to town. Then on Sunday the 14th, home again, and this is when Houston comes to town. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4 games in a row at home. Then on the 18th of February, Thursday, at Wichita State. On Sunday, the 21st of February, Temple at home. Wednesday, the 24th February, Tulane at home. The 28th, you go to Cincinnati. Then on March the 3rd, at USF. Then on March the 6th, Saturday, a game against Houston. And then I hope there would be a American Athletic Conference tournament played, hopefully, in Fort Worth. They had a 3-year deal, and we're hoping that
Great
thing
arena.
continues. Yeah, absolutely.
Great arena. So breaking Tiger news, we'll talk about that. We'll go back to that a bunch today. If you didn't hear it, we will announce it, recite it, the schedule in full a couple times before this day ends. My top story this weekend in college football, Dave, you're right. There are a lot of cancellations, but there are a lot of games being played. About 75% of the games are being played. 9th game of the year for Clemson, 9th game of the year for BYU, 8th game of the year for Cincinnati, 8th game of the year for Coastal Carolina, and this just highlights why the season should have started, if anything, August 29th instead of, for some, September 5th. Yep. Everyone should have been going by September 5th. If Coastal Carolina can, why can't the SEC? Greg Sankey gets a lot of credit. I think way too much credit for how he handled the scheduling. He deserves a lot of credit for a lot of things, but not necessarily just all hosannas for this. If the ACC and the AAC and the Sun Belt could start, then why couldn't the SEC? Dave, we're going to have 2 weeks in a row. The SEC doesn't have a 2:30 CBS game. Last Saturday didn't because of the Masters,
right? And
tomorrow won't have one because A&M and Ole Miss.
That is too bad.
And he gets all this credit.
Well,
that's a low bar.
But
and I think what it is, Dave, is a little bit like Adam Silver. Adam Silver is great, but comparing to those stooges standing by him in those other leagues, Greg Sankey is compared very favorably to Larry Scott, to Kevin Warren. We ought to look good.
Here is sort of why, though. Those conferences made decisions before the SEC that they weren't going to play at all, and they were trying to put a lot of pressure, especially the Big Ten.
Not all of them. The ACC never pulled the plug.
No,
that's not accurate.
No, but there was pressure by the Big Ten trying to get the SEC not to do it, to put pressure on everybody not to, so they were all alike. And the ACC and the SEC really were the ones that said, no, we're going to play. And Bowlesby went along with them because he's like
Sun
the third
Belt,
guy
AAC
there.
played.
Well, they did. They were separate because they're not in that thing. Right.
Central Arkansas.
There were a bunch that stood alone and said, we're going to go until we can't. I think there was some headstrong sense by the SEC that they were not going to cancel the season, but they were going to They were going to check it all out and see how it went with other leagues. So I hear your point, but I do think there was some steadfast in them that they were going to try. They just wanted to see somebody else get in the water first.
Not top story of the day.
No, that is the continuation of the virus and all the things that are causing changes because of it, including the Toronto Raptors will be known as the Tampa Raptors, at least for the beginning of the 2021 season. They could not make a deal with the government in Canada, so they will not begin the year playing games in Toronto. Pittsburgh and Virginia Tech, players in that game will be wearing face coverings on the field of play while competing. I don't know how they're going to do that. I think it'll be more like the face shields that we see as opposed to face masks, so maybe you can breathe either in those. We shall see. The Miami coach Manny Diaz tested positive for COVID today. So did the Troy coach Chip Lindsey. He's not coaching against Middle Tennessee. I have not heard about the status of coaching yet with Diaz for Miami. I would suspect he would not be able to go. There were 250 new cases and 2 deaths in Shelby County, 2,500, almost 2,600 tests at 9.8% positivity. The hospitals stay pretty much the same, about 91 to 92% occupied in Tennessee. 328,000 cases now, 4,000 deaths. In Mississippi, they had 1,600 new cases, so they're continuing to spike. 440,000 total now, 3,600 who have passed. In Arkansas, getting close to 140,000, 2,300 who have gone. Today in America, as far as fatalities go, so far when I looked, there were 843, but there were over 2,000 fatalities yesterday on Thursday. That's scary.
Number. My not top story, and it is the uncomfortable story. I'm sorry, Dave.
That's all right.
It is a very uncomfortable story. We haven't talked about it. It's hard to have it in conversation. But the LSU sexual assault story isn't getting near the wall-to-wall coverage, because I think some of the accusations and part of the reporting is so very tawdry that people don't want to discuss it. But
I think
plenty of others have been raked over the coals over a lot less. Here's my theory why. I think LSU has made the SEC a lot of money. But how can Will Wade and Ed Orgeron really still kind of get kid glove treatment with all the stories that have emanated from Red Stick?
It's an excellent question, and honestly, in this market, we haven't really talked about this case at all, except for the Memphis Tiger participant, which is sheer allegation where charges were never made against. I know his last name is Parrish. Is it Peter Parrish? Yeah, Peter Parrish, who's the Memphis quarterback that was clearly vetted by Ryan Silverfield and the University of Memphis athletics team. It's not just the football officials. It's an athletic team that vets these guys. And, again, he sued LSU. It didn't necessarily ever go to court because he was trying to get back his eligibility for the year they were telling him he was suspended. And so that's part of the reason why he transferred here. He felt he was really done wrong there. But in the
Dave,
meantime,
I'm going to say it. Mark Emmert runs a lot of interference for LSU at the NCAA offices. He used to be the chancellor there, and he just flat does.
Maybe so. But, bottom line is we've mentioned him here in this market because he was a part of that story. And the sad part about that mention is that the kid never had charges filed. It's almost like you point a finger at a guy, there's sort of an allegation there when there really should not be, at least by anything that I have seen thus far. And those are your top and your not top stories of the day. Man, we're busy as always. It's Friday. That means Bruce Marshall will be here. He comes your way in about 3 minutes Jason Munn's first appearance. We'll be talking to him all basketball season long, and we got a whole schedule we can talk about with him now. Glenn Rogers Jr., only a couple more weeks with him. He, MUS and ECS have semifinal games, and then there's a heck of a game tonight. Collierville and Bartlett, too. We'll get into the high school playoffs. Andy Schiffman on the NBA draft. Always talk with him on Fridays. We'll do it again while there is real meaning here. And then we've got our Friday football forecast brought to you by First National Bank and Trust. That will come your way at 5:30. We got a lot of games we're going to talk about coming up here in just a little bit. So it's a busy day, and we are officially underway.
Memphis Tiger fans, catch the Blue and Gray Show with John Stacy and Drew Barrett, Sunday nights from 5 till 7, right here on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Hi, this is Jarrett Carter, owner of East Memphis Ace Hardware. I want to thank everyone in East Memphis and beyond who helped make our first year a success. So what makes us different? First, we carry local products from barbecue sauces, rubs, and seasonings to local sourced honey. And our garden center is supplied by local growers here in Shelby and Fayette counties. Some of our unique services include glass cutting, plexiglass cutting, and screen repair. East Memphis Ace Hardware has a full-time locksmith and state-of-the-art Duracell key fob replacement center. We make duplicate keys, and our locksmith service can rekey locks to match your existing home. East Memphis Ace Hardware carries one of the largest varieties of grills and grilling accessories, including Big Green Egg, Traeger pellet grills, Weber, and many more. And if you prefer to order online at acehardware.com, select Ship to our store for free shipping. East Memphis Ace Hardware is proud to carry Benjamin Moore paint, Chip and Joanna Gaines branded Magnolia home paint, as well as Memphis' own Amy Howard furniture and hobby paint. East Memphis Ace Hardware is committed to customer service, and our selection of national brands is bar none. I want to wish everyone a safe and Merry Christmas from all of us at East Memphis Ace Hardware, corner of White Station and Quince Road.
Attention foodies, there's a great new place to eat in a great restored building. South Hall Cafe is now open for breakfast, brunch, and lunch in the former Tobacco Corner. Chef Jesus Ramon is creating classics from scratch with a twist. Enjoy all your favorites, including the best cheese grits in the South, a full bar, an in-house pastry chef, catering, online ordering for curbside or delivery, and a covered patio with live music on the weekends. We're open 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays and 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekends. South Hall Cafe, corner of Poplar and Mendenhall.
Swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops this holiday season for the hottest gifts from Bushnell Golf. Featuring the Tour V5 and Tour V5 Shift rangefinders, featuring Pin Seeker with visual jolt and bite magnetic cart mount, and featuring this season's #1 gift from Bushnell, the Wingman, the world's first Bluetooth speaker with audible GPS distances. Come into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get your Bushnell today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, your holiday headquarters since 1968, and shop online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back into the Family Leisure Studios. The holidays at home sale going on at Family Leisure at I-40 and Whidden Road with spas. Did I say spas? Oh, yeah, we got plenty in stock and hundreds on order. Now, I am telling you, Brett, you and I, we love air hockey and pool and all kinds of game tables. And now that we can't really go to big, huge outings, maybe you got a couple of close family members coming to your place for Thanksgiving. Not going to be a big outing. You're going to make your home sort of your holiday stable. Well, how about a pool table or a game table or arcade, right? And then after the meal, how about a massage chair? Because they got those on special price too. And if you know next year you're making your backyard a staycation place and you want a pool, you can buy a pool right now. Save on the 2021 price increase. Get the 2020 price and get early installation scheduling. Please take advantage of Family Leisure's Holidays at Home sale. Family and fun coming together at Family Leisure for the holidays. I'm not going to go over these now, but apparently I have got an updated schedule, and there's a couple of dates that I missed. I got all the right teams, but a couple of dates are a day or two off. So we'll go over that. We'll go over that with Jason Munns a little bit later. But if anybody was writing those down, I actually had the wrong ones here, but I've got the right one now. Anyway, let's talk college football because we do, even though we're missing 15 games, we got a lot of good games with which we can talk about. We bring in our expert who's been really good all year long from the Gold Sheet, the Golden Man. That would be Bruce Marshall. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm pretty good here. They better than Tulane bettors last night, especially who bet Tulane late. Ended up losing that game. That was pretty brutal.
That would be Drew.
Drew did, Bruce.
Yeah. Poor Drew.
That was bad. I was watching that on the airplane flying back last night, and I could not believe it. Although I did, a lot of people betted early. It was 6.5, and there were some 7s out there. But by the time that thing kicked off, it was at 4 last night. So late bettors, SMU got the money.
I got to ask you this,
Bruce. Middling a bit. Is it more overdone and talked about when people have the rare occasion to win it, or are there really good middling opportunities?
There can be, especially if you're crossing a key number. Last night, that 4 to 5 range is usually a little bit dead, Brett. So probably not as much last night. What you're seeing, though, a lot, and you're seeing more in the NFL this year, too, because most of these games, and some in college as well, they've got early numbers up there. You can only bet next week's games. And you're seeing a lot of numbers from these early numbers change a lot based upon the intervening game. So, yes, it can happen, especially if you're crossing a key number, a 3, 6, or 7. 3 and 7 still are the key numbers there, so that's possible. Also, the early numbers, and there weren't as many of them this year, but games of the year, when you started putting these numbers up back in May and June that some of the sports books did, you could look at LSU. I mean, I think this is like 4 TDs against Arkansas back in the summer, and now look at it. It's close to a pick'em game, so pretty big middle there. If you took Arkansas plus 28, now you can come back at LSU -1. That's got a 4 TD middle right there.
As you go through all your history, and are there teams that you'll look at and just go, you know what? They're lucky. I'm just going to go with them. And I bring that up because Tulsa is just absolutely fortunate. They were unlucky last year because they had a bad kicker, okay? So they brought some of that on themselves. But the referees gave them an East Carolina game. Even the conference admitted that they really lost that game. They have now come back from double-digit deficits in the fourth quarter 3 times. And last night, it took a Hail Mary and then a pick 6 in overtime for them to win the game. Do you ever look at a team and go, you know what? Luck is a part of this. I'm going to go with that team for that reason.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my whole life. I mean, I thought the Dallas Cowboys were lucky for about 20 years. I mean, but it's
that
part
guy
of
that
a
hat
character.
on was lucky.
Yes, and but it's part of a personality and character of a team. When this stuff starts snowballing, it starts to go well, and it goes the other way too. There are teams that are just snake bit, and it doesn't necessarily carry over year to year. But Tulsa's one of those teams this year that just seems to be, having everything go right. I do give Tulsa credit, though, for making these comebacks. I mean, this team has got a real resolve about it.
They do.
Got your third quarterback in there last night.
That was amazing.
Pretty impressive, though. I'm sure Willie
took
Fritz
a
is
shot
sick about
right
it.
to the gut.
He was the best of all
that
of them,
third
too.
teamer stood in there. Oh, he was, Dave, and tough and really rallied his team. All right, Bruce, the game of the day tomorrow at 11 o'clock on Fox, 11 Central Time. Indiana at Ohio State. Please tell me you were at the Rose Bowl between John Gonzo and O.J. Simpson.
I was not, but I watched it, and I remembered. I was still mad that UCLA lost to USC about 6 weeks earlier, so I was very, very upset that USC was in there. And I remember the game very well. And, Harry Gonzo, John Eisenbarger, Jay Butcher, Pont. This is interesting, that Indiana team. Yeah, I mean, Bob Hamill, the veteran sports writer in Bloomington, he wrote those couple Bob Knight books. And I've met Bob before, and he told me out of all the books he's written and stuff, the one he always wanted to write, but he never did, was on Indiana's 67 Rose Bowl team. That was a white-knuckle ride. And I've written about them before in the Gold Sheet, some retrospectives. Like, you wouldn't believe that year, and out of nowhere, one of the great stories in college history. Now, they haven't been back to the Rose Bowl since. That's their only visit. And this year, if they get to the Rose Bowl, it's got to be in the Final Four. So this is a game, if they want to do it, they're going to have to win here. I don't think they're going to win, but I don't think they're going to be humiliated here either. This Penix is a very live wire quarterback. I don't know that Ohio State plays for that 60-minute fury like they did last year, although they did jam in that TD late to cover against Nebraska. But I don't know if they have quite that same edge, and now you're needing a 3 TD win to cover the number. I don't know. I mean, Indiana, listen, they haven't beaten these guys since '87. That was the same deal against Michigan. They ended that streak. Ohio State's a lot better than Michigan. But plus the points, Mr. Intensity, Tom Allen, I think, keeps it. And, man, I've seen him at Big Ten Media Days. I mean, you talk about intense. I mean, he's off the charts. And I think his team reflects that. And they'll hang around. They won't get embarrassed. 38-24 score forecast here. Buckeyes win, don't cover.
I look at that, and I'm still trying to figure it out myself. The thing that worries me is I know Justin Fields he's gonna get some points in this game, and can Indiana move the ball against the Ohio State front? Isn't that one of the critical things here?
Yes, and I'm not sure they will until late. But at a price like this, the back door is going to be open, and Indiana is going to keep firing for 60 minutes. And that's another. I could see this thing, being 38-14 late in the game, and then Indiana scoring late. So as long as Penix is in there, they will be lively here. And Ohio State might get this number at some point during the game. I just don't know that they'll have it when 60 minutes are up.
Here's another intriguing game in the SEC, and that is Tennessee, which has struggled, and they're really trying to play for, I think, some self-belief, honestly, against an Auburn team. But Auburn's got to give away 10.5 here. What's the Gold Sheet take on this one?
Yeah, this might be adjusted too far. Although we haven't seen Auburn Halloween. They looked really good that day. LSU contributed to it. Gus made an adjustment to this offense after Bo Nix is making some mistakes early on. They have really scaled this offense back to rotate the pivot around Tank Bigsby, running the football. I do a show down in Baton Rouge, Jimmy Ott. He has Rohan Davey on once in a while. And a few weeks ago, he said he noticed what Gus has been doing with Nix, and he said he does not have him. He's really just looking at his first read, and that's it. They don't want him thinking too much out there, and they've scaled this offense way back. But he hasn't thrown a pick his last few games, and this might be to Auburn's benefit. But I think the bigger handicapping thing here is Tennessee is a really hard sell right now. As of this morning, I don't think Jeremy Pruitt had even announced who his quarterback was going to be. Guarantano has not played well. He did have that concussion 2 weeks ago. They cycled all the way to Bailey. The freshman did not look good. They've got 4 straight losses, all by double digits, some real hammerings in there. This offense is stalled. And he doesn't, even Guarantano he's serviceable at best, but he has really fallen on hard times. And I think Gus gets him here. 32-13, our score forecast for Auburn. I just don't want any part of Tennessee right now. And let's see if Gus gets him. If they did against LSU, they will get there.
Gold Sheet says Auburn over Tennessee used to be a great rivalry, but the SEC ruined it because they never see each other anymore. To the AAC, you were just in this part of the world, Bruce, seeing grandchildren in the Orlando area. Central Florida hosting Cincinnati. Cincinnati, a 6-point favorite at UCF.
Yeah, and I think this is the real test here for Cincy. The defense is what has got Cincy above all these other teams in the American, though I was kind of curious if Tulsa gets a shot at them, what that might look like if that's the title game. But the defense is so much better for Cincy, and they rank among the nation's leaders in a lot of categories, which UCF does not. Here's the interesting stat in this game. You think, UCF runs this offense, and the pace, they're running over 80 plays per game. So they run at the tempo is really accelerated. But yards per play, UCF 7.0 per play. Cincy's at 6.9 per play. They just play at a slower tempo, but they're almost as effective. And Ritter gives them some real flexibility at quarterback because he's such a dual threat and hard to defend. So Cincy usually finds a way to score enough points and because their quarterback is really good and they're efficient offensively, they just don't play at that fast tempo. And I think that will be the storyline of this game. 35-24. Cincy, last year it was 27-24 at Nippert, and that was sort of the baton passed between, Cincy away from Central Florida. Memphis ended up winning the American last year, but Central Florida sort of surrendered itself as the team to beat, I think, last year in this game a year ago. And I don't think they can turn it around tomorrow in Orlando.
You mentioned Ohio State and Indiana. There's another huge Big Ten game. Who would have thought that Wisconsin and Northwestern could be playing for the lead in their division? But they are, and Northwestern is getting at home 7.5 points. How does the Gold Sheet see that Big Ten showdown in Evanston?
I think it's too many. They've got a pretty good history here against Wisconsin. They beat them 7 of the last 10. At Evanston, they've covered 9 of the last 10 at home against the Badgers. In Pat Fitzgerald, when he's not outmanned, he's as resourceful as any coach in the Big Ten. And this year he's got a quarterback. In fact, it's the ex-Indiana quarterback, Peyton Ramsey. Wasn't too bad at Indiana, but Penixon beat him out. So he shows up here at Northwestern, and he's given Pat a real upgrade from what he had a year ago when they really, really struggled at quarterback. And the defense is fine. Wisconsin might be really good, or maybe Michigan is just really bad. But we've only seen these guys a couple times this year, and I think this will be their toughest test. Much tougher test than Michigan was last week. Hard to believe that we're saying that about Northwestern, but I think it will be. I'm going to take Northwestern plus this week. I think they're going to hang very close. I'm not sure if they win it, but we'll take Northwestern plus.
A couple of the college games that you love, the SEC schedule is, it's some huge favorites in that. What else do you love from college football, and one or two of your favorite NFL games, Bruce?
Brett, I'm going to lay the points with Florida here. I think Kyle Trask, all this talk about Trevor Lawrence and Fields, I'm not sure Trask isn't as good as both of those guys. He is looking to me like he could be a heck of a pro quarterback. And he's on a Heisman overdrive right now. And I don't think Dan Mullen's going to ease up because he needs style points to impress the pollsters, although he does have sort of a direct route to the Final Four if he can beat them in the SEC title game. But I don't think he's going to pull his foot off the accelerator this week. Poor Derek Mason. I joked in the Gold Sheet this week. No coach has gotten as much out of 6-win seasons since Joe Q. Herrick got the Eagles owner, Jerry Woolman, to give him a lifetime contract than Mason has at Vanderbilt. And there's a real battle going to brew there once the season over, whether he's going to stay or not. Anyway, lay the points with Florida in that one. It's 31. We still laid it. 54-13, our score forecast on the sheet. How about tonight? We're going to take New Mexico tonight at Air Force in the Mountain West. They are encamped in Las Vegas, by the way. They are living in town here. But they're in the Air Force tonight. They're hanging around these games. Rocky Long has got he's the coordinator now at defense in New Mexico. He got a very good record against Air Force when he was at San Diego State. Bob Davie covered 7 of 8 against Air Force when he was New Mexico's coach. You're getting 9.5 tonight. Too many. I'll take New Mexico tonight in the Mountain West.
Okay. I got to ask you LSU Arkansas, because that is not a big line. That's 2.5 LSU at home. Yeah,
I think it's up in Fayetteville, and they're going to be a slight favorite now. But, this season is unpredictable as this season has been. Arkansas has been pretty reliable. Yeah, I know Florida got them last week. Trask was hot. Sam Pittman didn't make the trip down there last week. I think he's going to be coaching this week, and he's certainly been able to help prepare the team. But note Felipe Franks has only thrown 1 interception since the opening week against Georgia. So he has picked up the Kendall Briles offense pretty well, and I don't trust LSU at all. Finley's going to start at this game at quarterback. He's blown very hot and cold. Brennan is out. Bo Pelini is coaching for his job on the defensive side here, I think. And who knows, if they stumble again next year, Ed O might have some trouble. That's the way it goes at LSU. National title last year or not. 33-24 Arkansas. They've been a lot more consistent this year than LSU, and I think they might be a better team this year. So here we'll find out tomorrow.
Yep, I'm in total agreement with you there. All right, your favorite NFL game before we say goodbye?
Yeah, this will make you laugh here. I'm going to take the Eagles this week against the grain. but it's time to anticipate, not just react. This is the nature of the NFL. The Browns, Baker Mayfield, they've scaled him back the last couple of weeks. They're in their bad weather mode right now. Nick Chubb's running. I just have a feeling the Eagles are going to show up this week. They went up to Buffalo last year and won a game in a similar spot. I think they go into Cleveland and win. So I'm going to take the Eagles plus the points to win this thing outright in Cleveland.
Wow, I'm not with you on that one, but you are on fire. You've been really, really good this year. And how do we get more of Bruce Marshall and the Gold Sheet?
Thanks, Dave. Check us out online, goldsheet.com. If you go up there now, you can read a little college basketball preview. Yeah, college hoops, believe it or not. And I put a top 25 up there. We'll see what happens, but that's up there now, new Gold Sheet, and with my picks for this week in the NFL and college football as well. Goldsheet.com, my picks there, also Vegas Insider. And DonBest.com, and you can also read my stuff in Decent Point Spread Weekly.
You don't happen to have the Tigers in your top 25 college hoops, do you?
They were just outside of it. But Landers Nolly, I did mention him in there, so he may be a nice addition.
He sure should be. Thank you, Bruce.
Good
we
luck,
appreciate
Bruce.
it. Have a great weekend.
Okay. Thanks, boys.
And happy
Thank
Thanksgiving to you, too.
Yes, you too.
All right, Bruce Marshall, our friend
Thank you,
from
Thank
the
you,
Gold
Bruce
Sheet.
Marshall.
Yeah.
Bruce Marshall with us every Friday, and his picks have been great. Look, this weekend, a lot to watch on TV and a lot to prepare for next week, and I know where you need to start it. You need to start it at the commissary, 901-754-5540. 754-5540, online at commissarybarbecue.com. You still have plenty of time to order the bird to be the prime food for next Thursday and into the weekend. Order 2 of them. Make sure you have plenty around into all of next weekend. And we talk about these games and picks and locks. It is a lock. You order the bird for this round of holidays, and you will for every round of holidays from now through the end of time. At the commissary, either place, the new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. You need to stock up to listen and watch the Tigers tomorrow, to tailgate at home tomorrow, to watch all the games, all the SEC games. Dave mentioned Arkansas and LSU. We talked about Tennessee and Auburn. You got to have plenty around for this weekend and for any family that might come through. I know everybody's keeping it small, but you still got to have a lot of food. Memphis-style barbecue, ribs, all of it, so delicious, authentic Memphis-style, great food. Start that feast with the appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the nachos. You can get all of this to go, everything safe, everything contactless. They'll meet you at your car. Smoked chicken wings are terrific. Dig into the ribs or the shoulder, get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich, a big sandwich, or you can get it on the plate. All the fixings, beans, slaw, deviled eggs, and bread as well. You can even order it by the pound or a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. And don't forget the Brunswick stew. Don't forget the dessert. Save plenty of room for that. When you order your bird, order a lemon icebox pie. Order enough banana pudding for all the dessert. Let the commissary do everything for you for this weekend game watching and for next week during the first round of the fun holiday season. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybarbecue.com in Collierville and Germantown. And as Dave said, stick your head in there and tell Walker Taylor thank you so much for how he has plowed through this year and kept us well fed, and we appreciate him so much. You will enjoy it for the holidays. Anything from the commissary barbecue, again, 754-5540 or online at commissarybarbecue.com.
I'm looking forward to saying hello to him when I go pick my bird up next Wednesday. Back in a minute, we'll put a wrap on hour number 1 on this Friday of Sports Time on Sports 56.
You have opinions?
I think they got a lot of athletic ability.
We want to hear them.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
Call us on the First Bank phone line at 360-8255 or text us on the First Bank text line at 67129.
Before you drive the all-new Nissan Rogue, you gotta ask yourself, how rogue are you gonna go? We talking find your spirit animal in the desert rogue? Build an igloo in the middle of nowhere rogue? Or take the long way home just because kind of rogue? Just a question, but with 5 available drive modes, you're sure to find the answer.
Go rogue in the all-new, fiercely reimagined 2021 Nissan Rogue, now with the most standard safety features in its class. See Owner's Manual for important safety information. Auto Pacific segmentation. 2021 Nissan Rogue versus latest in market competitors. Base models compared.
Hey, Dave Woloshin here. I want to talk to you about my good friends at PrestoShutters.com. They're open right now, and prices don't get any cheaper for window replacement, window treatments, exterior shutters, inside plantation shutters, roller shades, blinds, whatever window fashion you need, they've got. Amazing deep discounts, including installation. Everything you need is American-made. Visit PrestoShutters.com or call them at 901-244-7484. That's 901-244-7484.
How would you like the chance to win a truckload of DeWalt tools, plus the truck they came in? Yeah, we thought so. Don't miss Lowe's Provember event. Now through November 25th, you could win a set of 18 DeWalt tools worth over $3,000. And the truck? A 2021 Chevy Silverado. Enter for your chance to win at lowesforpros.com/Provember. Lowe's, the new home for pros. No purchase necessary. Starts 10/28, ends 11/25. LFP membership required. U.S. only. Entry rules on lowesforpros.com/Provember.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Some of the big news today for Memphis Tiger basketball fans. The new schedule is out. 27 games, just like they said. Starting in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, that will be the team leaving on Monday. We will see if that really happens. And then, as you said, Brett, if they really tip it off, 3:30. Actually, there is a 1 o'clock game, and that is West Virginia against, now it's Northern Iowa. If that game tips off, then we know we got a tournament. We shall see. We have not yet heard any kind of replacement for A&M, so rather for Creighton on the other side of the bracket. So we'll have to wait and see about all of that. In the meantime, tomorrow, 11 a.m., ESPN Plus, or you can listen to me. The Tigers and Stephen F. Austin, a team that has won 6 in a row, albeit they have beaten FCS teams, the FCS teams, the FBS, two CUSA and an American Athletic Conference team. They got handed their hats pretty well, especially against the SMU Mustangs, the American opponent they played. That was 50-7, and the Tigers are 30-point favorites in this game. And we sort of mentioned yesterday, we were talking Tigers with Greg Gaston. It comes down here to establishing the run game. And the one thing that Stephen F. Austin has done pretty much against just about everybody except for SMU, and that is turn people over. They are good at turning people over. They got a plus 11, which you don't see that very often. They've had 13 interceptions. And so the Tigers have to play a clean game just to prove to themselves they're capable of doing that, because they have yet to do that this year.
Yeah, the Tigers' opponent tomorrow is the Tigers. Their team goals, their team room, the things that they expect out of themselves, and to get ready for now this rejuggled last 3 games.
Yep. And that is interesting. But at least now you know what you will have for the next 3 weeks. So it's not like, you're going to have to readjust and take on a different team that you didn't think you were going to have to take on. In fact, they've actually got 1 day of Navy practice in, and if you're going to have an extra day of practice for a team, that might be the team, because you don't see that triple option every day. Although I'll say this, Brett, I've noticed now Navy is throwing the ball a lot more, and they got a quarterback who can actually throw the ball, and he's not a great triple threat runner. So I think Niumatalolo is slowly starting to maybe rethink exactly what he wants to do at Navy in a conference that is full of spread and high-octane offenses.
Yeah, it's not Air Coryell, but it's a little more throwing than it was.
No. Yeah, it's not Air Coryell. There's still some triple option in there, but they haven't been able to move the ball that way, and they're in 3rd down and long all the time, and that doesn't work for a triple options threat, and so he has started to throw the ball a little bit more. But that's the week after. You got to go on the road. I don't believe they have anybody in Navy Marine Stadium with the exception of some of the cadets. I think that some of them get to come because they're in a in a bubble already, right? I think that's
they almost exist in a bubble, even in good times.
Well, yeah, that is true. They do, but it's also interesting that I think
they've really bubbleized now.
Yeah, but every service academy,
the academies have been hit.
Yeah, every service academy. You know, the Air Force had it really bad. Army's had some.
Well, and you're on top of each other too, because I mean, you literally are living in barracks over
absolutely
over North Hall or something.
That's an hour in the books. We are really busy coming up here in just a minute. We'll get back into the Tiger basketball schedule, and that will be with Jason Munz. Once again, the beat writer is back with us, the beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. We'll talk Tiger hoops in a minute. I'll let you know this final portion of hour number 1 is brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and that famous Energy Saver Super Tune-Up that now is including this year, no extra charge, $69 for everything. A heating system safety check. Now, I'm a firm believer 2 times a year you tune up your system. One for the summertime when it's air conditioning, the other in the wintertime. This is how you save money on your MLGW bill, and you make the life of your system live a lot longer. You really do. I mean, it will increase the longevity for sure. And I think the most important one of these checkups or these tune-ups is in the winter, because John's always throwing in the carbon monoxide test as part of that heating system safety check. So you get the tune-up and you get the checkup with the carbon monoxide test, all for $69. All you got to do is call 384-3511, 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Back in a minute, Tiger Talks with the CA beat writer. Jason Munz is next.
Spend the holidays at home this year with a little help from Family Leisure. Family Leisure has so many spas in stock and hundreds more on order. Now's your time to really save big. Huge savings on pool tables, game tables, arcades, massage chairs, and a whole lot more. Buy a pool now and save the 2021 price increase. Plus, you'll get early installation scheduling. The Holidays at Home sale happening now at Family Leisure, Whidden Road at I-40, where family and fun come together for the holidays.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
All 75 months at 2.99. Mirage LHO 10130 MSRP 16565. G4 LHF 12118 MSRP 17435. Outlander LZO 38819 MSRP 381. Outlander PEV qualifies for a 5,836 federal tax credit. Consult your tax advisor. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax filing license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/2020. Dealer stock only.
The 2020 year-end sales event is on at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage. Buy for $11,100 or $99 a month. 43 MPG Highway. A Mirage you can't miss with 2020 G4. 41 MPG Highway, $139 a month, or buy for $12,435. Plus, crossover with 4x4 off-road capabilities with 74 MPG. 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid EV, $27,838 or $359 per month. And 10 years of confidence with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
ever there was a time for comfort food, this is it. And there's no comfort food like Sunrise on Jefferson. Fresh made breakfast featuring Sunrise's signature homemade square biscuits or the huge selection of hot, fresh, and fast lunch items are all part of what has always made Sunrise the most comforting of comfort foods in Memphis. Of course, everything that can be done to keep you and the staff safe at Sunrise is a top priority. And you can always order ahead and get delicious Sunrise to go. At a time this confusing, it's good to know there's one thing you can count on: Sunrise.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in today. We had a lot of scheduling stuff. Welcome into hour number 2. Wallow and Stats and Drew Barrett with you. Nice to have you aboard as we get set for the weekend. Tiger football tomorrow. And now we know they'll be playing next week, next Saturday, a week from tomorrow, in Annapolis in a very important game. And then they will play at Tulane on December the 5th and what could be a very important game on the 12th now at home against Houston. So they will be on the road the next 2 weeks, a little reshuffling going on there. And then right about 3:15 today, we found out the news: the Tiger basketball schedule is out. Perfect timing to bring in our friend for the first time this year, the beat writer for the Commercial Appeal of Tiger basketball. That is Jason Munns. Jason, how are you? How's your family? Everybody healthy? Hope everybody is doing well.
Yeah, can't complain. You mentioned the good timing on the basketball schedule. I mean,
You arranged that?
Well, I almost get the sense that you did. That's what I was going to ask you. That maybe you knew you guys did something I did.
He did, Jason.
Yeah,
Dave
good
did.
stuff.
I had it
That's why
purposely
you guys
done.
are pros.
Yeah, we had it purposely done. We said, you know what? I'm going to get that release, and then we'll get Munns on. It's perfect. That is exactly. And I called Penny. I said, don't do anything until 3:15 today. No, that is exactly not how it worked. I just out of curiosity, because we're all doing things a little different, and in full disclosure, I will be doing the Tiger basketball game starting next Wednesday for this South Dakota tournament from a radio studio, watching it on TV, and hopefully we can bring it to life. Will you be there, or will you be watching on TV and writing about it kind of like we are?
Yeah, I'm going to be in the same boat as you guys. It's interesting, we were full steam ahead just a few weeks ago. Trip had been booked, travel arrangements had been made, and then teams started dropping out, and it was like, well, maybe we ought to, be a little bit more, maybe we ought to rethink this. And then the numbers started going up in South Dakota, and we just, out of an abundance of caution, we backed off, and so yeah, we'll be doing our we'll be providing coverage off the TV and Zoom broadcast, but that's okay. It's
and radio,
we have,
and radio with Dave,
and radio. Yes,
there you
go. Most definitely.
Do you think there really will be a crossover mowers tournament in Sioux Falls, South Dakota next Wednesday?
I think barring, just like a nightmare scenario where 3 or 4 or 5 teams start, testing, having people test positive. Yeah, I think it's going to play. I think as long as everybody is, as long as the tests between now and next Wednesday go well, for all the players and coaches involved, then yes, I think there will be a tournament.
And now, Jason, that schedule today. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say now, if something crazy happens,
right.
We learned that things can get a little bit nutty, but yeah, if everybody's healthy, I think it'll go on.
Well, the other aspect too is I have not seen or heard, other than the rumors that both Brett and I have speculated upon and tried to start, like with Pacific, I've not seen a replacement yet for Creighton.
No, I haven't either. And I was actually just talking to somebody about that a few minutes ago, and it's like, they brought up a good point. The closer you get,
the more the pool shrinks. Like a week ago when somebody backs out, you kind of have a better idea. The plans aren't necessarily as concrete as they are the closer you get to the season. So I'm sure the pool is shrinking. The replacement pool is shrinking because other teams are, they were on standby, but they can't be on standby forever. So, but yeah, no, I figure that's what's taken so long.
Jason, this schedule, like everybody else's schedule this year, it's abbreviated. It's not as full as we're used to. It's all these administrators can do. I know people have already said, is this schedule? Well, first of all, not many people are going to be able to go. Second of all, this is just a battle of survival for everyone, everybody, me included. Take some patient pills from now maybe to the 1st of June again, maybe to the 1st of August again. It's just people doing the best they can, and Jason, largely on the fly for a lot of administrators.
Oh yeah, I mean, as frustrating as it may be, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's been frustrating for me to have to wait this long to know when teams are playing and where they're playing and that sort of thing. So I can only imagine how frustrating it is for the fan bases of the respective teams. But I think what we all just have to understand is that under, with the protocols that are in place and the caution that is being practiced, you just have to bear with, like you said, you just have to bear with these administrators and these officials who are trying their best to bring college sports back as safely as they possibly can. And there's going to be hiccups. There's going to be sneezes. There's going to be, all sorts of coughing fits and things like that over the next few months. But
and COVID.
yeah, that's a good point. But at the same time, they're trying their best, and I think we just got to take what we can get.
I guess if we're looking at this schedule, based on what Penny has told us, and he was on the air with us a couple of weeks ago, and he sort of alluded to that there would be the Ole Miss game and the Auburn game. There would be the 3 that would be played in Sioux Falls. There would be Arkansas State, and we got the sense that we were going to see St. Louis here in the slot that Mississippi Valley State has taken. So that seems to me to be the biggest surprise at the moment.
Yeah, I know there had been a report from some national media member a while back that series was going to be delayed or postponed or whatever. It was going to be pushed back a year. So, so there was, that was at least out there. But I think, maybe it was in the works. And then I don't know if you guys saw, but St. Louis decided to put on their own little multi-team event. That was announced this morning. They're hosting LSU and I think SIU Edwardsville or something like that next week. So maybe that's what did it in. I don't know.
Well, if it's around that December 8th date, that could be it. That could very well be your answer.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no. I mean, as we just found out, and I, people who've sort of been keeping track of how these not negotiations, but how these dealings, the scheduling issues have been going over the last couple of months. We have known Ole Miss has been in place, Arkansas State has been in place. The one that was kind of a mystery up until just a few minutes ago was the December 8th Mississippi Valley State game. So maybe it was something that just happened recently that might have meant the difference between St. Louis and Mississippi Valley.
Jason, I'm always story idea guy to you, and I know you probably get sick of that because you know exactly what you're doing and you do it oh so well. But for the Ole Miss game, and you'd probably have to start now with, quarantining or protocols, at minimum protocols. Ask them if you could for that day for you to be inside the bubble, literally on the team bus, watching them go through what they have to go through for this year. I think the reader and the fan would love to know just how elaborate and sophisticated that it is to get one darn game played now.
trust me. First of all, to the contrary, any and all story ideas are as welcome as can possibly be on this end, especially from you guys. But no, yeah, that would be that is something that I've actually been thinking about. I don't know how, given how secure the bubble has to be to make sure that these games actually get played. Who knows if it's actually feasible? But I do think that is something that is a story that needs to be told. There does need to be somebody somewhere who is let in to see the workings, the things that these players are having to go through. I think it'll be a fascinating story because, I mean, these players are having to go to school. They're having to deal with their own families. They have families, they have friends, they have all these things, and now on top of it, they've got these, all these protocols and these hoops they have to jump through just to play a stinking basketball game. So, I think that would be just for posterity's sake, just to get it out there and be able to document just how crazy this time is for college basketball or college sports. Yeah, that'd be something. I am gonna get the ball rolling on that here pretty soon.
Well, the first step in that one would be that you would have to take 3 tests per week, and you'd have to go there to do it. And that would be the first thing. So it is interesting.
All right, minimum follow the radio team around.
Hey, you know what? I might do that too. If that's as close as I can get, that's a pretty good substitute.
Yeah.
I back to the schedule. There's a couple of other interesting things here. The last regular season game of the year against number 17 Houston is a game that is scheduled for either March 6th or March 7th. I don't know if that has to do with television or with the availability of FedEx Forum, and the Grizzlies are trying to figure out which day they're going to go with an opponent on that day. So that I found interesting. And the other aspect here was that usually when they put the schedule out, they put the dates for the conference tournament to be held this year in Fort Worth like it was supposed to be held last year. And there is not a slot there for that tourney.
Yeah, your first point, that was the first thing that came to my mind, was that there must be some sort of thing up in the air in limbo a little bit about with the Grizzlies and their schedule. So I haven't gotten word yet necessarily what the deal is with that either or for Houston, but hopefully I will soon. And then the other thing that you mentioned, yes, I noticed that too. That was not on the schedule that was released, nor were any tip-off times too, except for the Crossover Classic. All tip-off times are TBA. So, but at the same time, Dickies Arena released, they announced, I don't know, a month or two ago that they were holding the men's and women's conference tournaments at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. I think the women are March 8th to the 11th, and the men are March 11th to the 14th. And I haven't heard anything different since then. But you're right. Somebody should check on that and make sure it's still the plan.
The roster. Everybody's waiting for the finalization of that and wondering about playing time. Some of it got sorted out with the Isaiah Stokes news. People text us every day, what do we think will be the starting 5? Everybody's eligible. What do you think will be the first 5 to run out there in South Dakota next Wednesday?
If everybody's eligible outside of Isaiah Stokes, I think your starting 5, I think you can – all right, let's see. I think the surefire no-brainers are DJ Jeffries and Landers Nolly II. I think those are your no-brainers. I think the next closest thing to a no-brainer is Musa Cisse. It's just, and I say that most because, it's a 5-star, extremely high-level recruit. I don't think he came here to come off the bench, that sort of thing.
If nothing else, the opening tip.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah. So Yeah, exactly. Who knows how long he plays, whether he finishes the game, who knows. But I do think he will start if he's eligible. And then, really the two bigger question marks outside of that are point guard and the 4 spot. I think the 4 could be either DeAndre Williams or Lester Quinones. I think that's probably it really, I think that might hinge on who the opponent is, what the scouting report looks like. Do you want to go a little smaller with Lester? Do you want to go, do you need another sort of bigger body like DeAndre Williams? And then going back to point guard, I think it's going to be Alex Lomax. I think he has probably earned the right to be the quarterback, so to speak, of this team, at least in the starting lineup. I suppose Boogie Ellis, maybe even Damian Ball, might get a few looks here and there, but I think it's Alex Lomax at this stage. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is
To me,
Alex Lomax?
That's an upset because I thought for sure that it was to be Boogie Ellis, because Boogie Ellis is the guy with the upside. Boogie Ellis is a guy that a year ago the folks thought he was going to be an NBA guy, and he still may be. So that's an upset. The other interesting aspect of that to me is Lester Quinones, who really played more of a 2, sometimes a 1 last year, and now you're moving him to 4, or you're not. They are moving him to 4. That's a big sort of switch, but it goes along with Penny's whole concept of positionless basketball.
Yeah, I mean, they've said it before over and over again that really what the ideal scenario for them is player, big man. It's not the traditional, point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and then center. That's not how they look at it. They want to be versatile. They want to be interchangeable 1 through 4. And that's why I say, Lester, that's kind of why I was saying Lester at the 4. I mean, it may be DJ at the 4. It may be Landers at the 4, because again, they want to be they want to be really versatile and interchangeable. But no, I'm like you. I think I was assuming that Boogie was going to be given the opportunity, like last year, to be in the starting lineup. But I just think that's not his strong suit. The point guard position is not necessarily his strong suit. It may be his best opportunity to get to the NBA. Like if he's going to get to the NBA, he's probably going to have to be able to run the point really well. But I just don't think that's his game. I think his game is more off the ball, and that's why I think Alex Lomax. And here, nothing against Alex Lomax. I mean, he's in his 3rd year. He's going into his 3rd year, and he's been pretty good. And
he's more the prototype.
Yeah, and the reports that I've gotten is he's dropped some weight. He's improved his 3-point shooting.
He's got to improve his ball handling. That for a point guard was a weakness a year ago that even Penny Hardaway had mentioned to me, that he didn't work hard enough on ball handling. So I hope his dribbling skills have improved if he indeed becomes the starting point guard.
Yeah, that and maybe his decision making a little bit were kind of suspect to me more than anything else last year. But again, it's not to say that he is going to be the starter all season, but I think at this stage it'll be him whose job it is to lose.
Were you surprised at all about Stokes' year-long suspension? We've all heard stories and little pieces here and there about what was going on. I really kind of, when he said he thought he would be available at the beginning of the year, I kind of went with that. So I wonder if Penny was surprised. Were you surprised a whole year? And do you think he'll ever play in a Memphis uniform?
I was surprised only because what Penny said last week about that you just mentioned about expecting to have Isaiah for start of the season matched up with what I'd been hearing through different channels for a few weeks leading up to his comment. So, multiple people around the program were all thinking the same way. And so, you kind of assume that's the direction things are going. And then at the last minute, things take a decidedly different turn. It's a year-long suspension. And from my understanding, it's a university suspension. It's not a team suspension. So, I don't think it was anything like a violation of team rules or, those sorts of things. Still unclear what it is exactly, but, if it's a university suspension, that doesn't seem like a good thing. And to answer your question, will he ever suit up? Boy, that's a great question. Because if he does, he will be playing, by the time he finally steps foot on the court, it'll have been, 2.5 years or so since the last time he played competitive, in a game, college basketball. That's a long time for anybody to take a break, and especially if whatever he's going through right now is something that he even wants to try to come back from. Who knows? Because he's going to have questions to answer when he, if he comes back, he's going to have questions to answer, and does he want to deal with that? That remains to be seen. So I think if I'm giving my opinion, and my gut tells me that it's a long shot that he ever plays in Memphis.
And last thing, what's your sense of this lack of word on the eligibility of Cisse? I know every top 10 guy, 5-star guys, they get vetted. But here we are, we're 4 days away from the season beginning, or 5 days away. What's the holdup?
I think you've got a guy who's an international guy who is a 5-star recruit who, at some point before his commitment, he moved from, New York to Memphis. And then, of course, there's the reclassification side of it. All of it seemed to happen really, really quickly. And there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to Moussa Cisse and everything that has led up to this point since he moved to the United States. And so, unfortunately, I think it's just taken a little bit longer for the NCAA. I don't get the sense from anybody that I've talked to that because it's taking so long that there should be a heightened sense of, oh goodness, what's going on here? Is it ideal? No. Is it something to be concerned about if he's not able to play for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, a month, maybe? Yeah, that's not great. But at this stage, I haven't been given any indication that it's anything more than just the NCAA having to dig through all the moving parts that I laid out a minute ago.
Sure.
So I think that's kind of the situation there.
Well, I think we know one thing for sure. If you learn from past history and learn lessons, you're not playing them until you get the word.
I think you're right about
that is for sure. Jason, I look forward to chatting with you every week throughout this basketball season. It could really be a good season if we can really get it going. And we appreciate your time.
It'll be interesting if nothing else.
Yeah. All right. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, and we'll chat with you sometime very soon.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal, our title sponsor for this hour of the program's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch. Right now you can get a G car, a G70, my favorite car. That thing that is like a sports car. It is a sedan. It's a little smaller. The G90 is like a huge limo almost, a beautiful car, smooth as could be. But the G70, fast, handles like you wouldn't believe. And they've got a couple on special with a price now that has 0% financing for 72 months. Yes, you too can afford a G70 Genesis luxury car, and all the Hyundais and all the Genesis cars that are sitting on the lot at Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Well, they all get a limited lifetime powertrain warranty, and they all get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. They've raised the bar. In fact, with Genesis now, they will bring the car to you. All you got to do is call Vincent Gerard. He's now over the Genesis cars. Again, this is a special place. Please go see for yourself. Tell them we sent you. You'll love what you see at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. Back in a minute, we'll shift gears a bit. There is high school football. Oh, by the way, I just got a picture. Stephen F. Austin is in town. That game's going to happen tomorrow. High school football's happening tonight, and Glenn Rogers talks about it in just 1 minute.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together. So the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
All 75 months at 2.99 Mirage, LHO 10130, MSRP 16565, G4, LHF 12218, MSRP 17435, Outlander LZO 38819, MSRP 381, Outlander PEV qualifies for a 5,836 federal tax credit. Consult your tax advisor. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax filing license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/2020. Dealer stock only.
The 2020 year-end sales event is on at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage. Buy for $11,100 or $99 a month. 43 MPG Highway. A Mirage you can't miss with 2020 G4, 41 MPG Highway, $139 a month, or buy for $12,435. Plus, crossover with 4x4 off-road capabilities with 74 MPG. 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid EV, $27,838 or $359 per month. And 10 years of confidence with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
There's no place like home for the holidays, or HomeDepot.com for holiday decor, with great low prices on decorations inside and out, like artificial Christmas trees to light up the living room, outside lights and playful inflatables that bring joy to the neighborhood. Order online, and you'll even get free delivery. Holiday decorating improved with a wide assortment of holiday decor from HomeDepot.com. How doers get more done. Free standard shipping on most online orders over $45. Some exclusions apply while supplies last.
Hi, this is Troy 5 owner of 5 Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? 5 Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5 Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
There's nothing like elimination. We got big games tonight. We got a couple of semi, including MUS and ECS. That's fun stuff when you've got that. We got a big game between Bartlett and Collierville. So there is plenty of high school football that we can talk about with a lot of meaning. That is for sure. And let's bring in our coach, who I know is very busy and probably very nervous right now as he gets set for a semifinal game. Glenn, how are you?
Good afternoon, Dave and Stats and Drew and all our listeners. I am a little nervous, Dave, but excited nervous, though.
Yeah, and MUS and Montgomery Bell have run into each other a lot lately, and the Big Reds kind of had the best of it against MUS of late, Glenn.
Yeah, they have. You know, they beat us the last two times, well, in the last three tries, rather. They knocked us off this year 38-35, and then they beat at home 7-14. So it's been three in a row. But before they number, I think on that they. So
hey, Glenn.
Back and forth tennis time. Yes,
Glenn,
sir.
Okay, don't move because we missed a lot of that. We're going to ask you to repeat what you said because you were breaking up terribly. And if it continues, we'll probably ask you to recall. But so match up the Owls and Montgomery Bell.
They beat us the last three times.
We'll have to try to regroup with Glenn, and he's in Nashville trying to get this whole thing set up. There's another terrific game too, Brett, and that is ECS against a Lipscomb team that is outstanding.
Yeah, it's a real big game, and Dave, all these games this time of year, because if you lose this time, there's no next week, and for most of the youngsters playing, the next loss is the last loss. It's the last time you ever play football again in your life. You don't go put the pads on and play pickup, Saturday afternoon football. This ends it for a lot of people, and it's why the emotions of the coaching staff that Glenn can touch on, the emotions of the parents and grandparents and everybody involved in the stands. They know this is the last dance for sure for most that are playing tonight.
All right, let's see if we've got a better signal now with our friend Glenn Rogers, who is
that
in
better,
Nashville.
guys?
Yeah, much better. We can hear you now.
Okay.
So you've had tough times with NBA the last, what did you say, 3 times?
Yeah, 3 times. They knocked us off in the regular season, 38-35 up here earlier. And then last year in the semis, they beat us. And then last year during the regular season, they came down and beat us 17-14. So they've had our number the last 3 times. And prior to that, we had them, I'm going to say 9 or 10 times in a row. So it's been a real good matchup and a good battle with these guys. I like playing them.
Well, that 30
that sounds like Tennessee and Alabama in the day when it was kind of a run of streaks. Well, Glenn, plenty of motivation for your youngsters and revenge. We know how it's best served. It's best served with beating them at their own stadium.
Exactly. It's going to be a nice crowd. The weather's beautiful up here in Nashville. Like I told you guys last time, Stats. And Dave, this campus is beautiful, man. They got a lot of new buildings. This guy who passed away gave them $100 million. They didn't even know it was coming.
Wow.
So this guy donated $100 million to them, and trust me, they're putting it to good use. I promise you that.
You know what my wife would say to me with that? She'd go, could you be related to him? That's what she would say.
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
I take distant cousin.
You guys had a heck of a game when you lost 30-27, but you've been a much better team over the last month. Coaches like to say this, but it's really true with MUS, and it's really true most of the time with Bobby Alston's teams. You guys get better as the year goes on. Where have you gotten better? Why do you think you can beat NBA this time around?
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave, to me, our probably most improved position offensive has been our offensive line. You guys know when the line plays together more, they gain more confidence with each other and gain more experience with each other. So we've got 3 new stars we broke in early in the year. And so these guys have gotten a lot better playing with each other. We didn't have no scrimmages. no preseason scrimmages. We missed the first 3 games, and so these guys have gotten better. I think defensively, our D line, we got 3 seniors up there that had a lot of playing experience, but 2 of them were injured last year and didn't play at all. So these guys have been playing well together, and I think that's why our biggest improvement both sides of the ball is offensive and defensive line play.
And if you win this, now you got either Chattanooga McCauley or Brentwood because they're playing each other, and that would be the championship game on December the 3rd. We can only wish you the best of luck. Another great game. Lipscomb 10-2, ECS 9-2. Lipscomb was very fortunate. They did not have to play Lausanne because Lausanne had the COVID case, so that was a forfeiture. ECS earned it at home in a overtime game. And they are really, really well tested. They got a huge offensive line that's been effective. Tell me a little bit about this game and how you think it will play out.
Well, I think, Dave, this is going to be an exciting ball game. Trent Dilfer, the former Super Bowl quarterback with the Buccaneers and longtime NFL analyst, he's coaching at Lipscomb now. And, Scott Vogel and Trey Adams, the head coach at ECS, what a wonderful job they've done. They're defending state champs. Jalen Greenwood, that home run hit at tailback, and then Big Pennington, the offensive line, opening holes up. This is going to be a ball game I'd love to see in person because I think these are 2 powerhouses in that division, and I'm not discounting Lausanne. I hated for those kids last week forfeiting that game to Lipscomb because I thought that would have been a great matchup. But it's going to be an exciting ball game tonight, and who can run the football tonight and who can get some stops. That's going to be the key to the ball game. And I think more important than anything, special teams tonight around this state is going to be important in all these ball games tonight in some shape, form, or fashion.
It'll be the difference in moving on or moving out. And I mentioned
absolutely
while we're reconnecting
tonight or go home.
That's it. And that emotion of that, Glenn, I mean, because this is it for most all of them. For 95% of the team, this is the end of football. All right, tonight, here real locally, we have Bartlett and Collierville. That matches up the offensive player of the year in Robert Giamo against the defensive player of the year, Ethan Hassler for Collierville, and the coach of the year, Lance Tucker at Bartlett. Are we doing it again this year, Glenn? When I say we, I mean everybody that doesn't sign him. That would be we. Last year it was Lincoln Perry. This year it's Robert Giamo. Are people missing out on a good ball player not signing him?
They absolutely, Stats. Last year was Lincoln Perry. That guy was, a little man, but God, could he run the football and do everything you need out of a running back. And then Giamo, same thing with Bartlett this year. A lot of people missing out. I'm sure he's going to land somewhere on his feet. And congratulations to Coach Tucker being the coach of the year. And, they're going to have their hands full tonight. Last time they played Collierville and went to overtime, I want to say double overtime, and Bartlett squeaked out the win. It's not going to be an easy giveaway tonight with Bartlett. They got to come bring their A game because I can promise you, Joe Riccone is going to have his club ready to go, and they probably feeling like they let that ball game slip away at their place last time.
Well, I know several people have said they think Bartlett has a really good chance if they get past this game to win the gold ball and bring it back to Shelby County at this 6A level. But
absolutely,
there are plenty of people who think Collierville's going to win this game because I guess of the first game, which was, 35-27 in overtime.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you have to pick a winner here, who's it going to be?
Well, Dave, I love defenses, and, Collierville got the defensive player of the year, but you cannot discount what Coach Tucker and his staff and Bartlett did this year. With Giamo leading the way, it's tough. To me, as a defensive player, the toughest thing to stop is when the team is running right at you, running that football. And I think Bartlett's going to do that tonight. They probably got fancy last week and probably the last time they played and got cute. But this time of year, I bet you Coach Tucker's going to stick to his guns and keep handing that ball off to Giamo and sticking that offensive line just with break Collierville's wheel up front.
We are talking with Glenn Rogers Jr., semifinals in some cases, quarterfinals with the Bartlett and Collierville matchup tonight. I have to ask you this. Titans sponsor a Mr. Tennessee football, right? They do it every year, and it's a nice thing they do.
Absolutely.
And this year, let's face it, Shelby County Schools didn't even play, so you couldn't put them in here. But there are only, out of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 classes, right? The 3 in Division II, the private, and 6 throughout the state. There are only 2 semifinalists from this area. Dallin Hayden, Christian Brothers, the great running back, and the kid that's playing tonight, Dietrich Pennington, you already mentioned, the big offensive lineman from ECS. Is that a slight? Should there be more, or is that about right because there were so many schools that didn't play in West Tennessee this year?
Well, I think that's about right, Dave. You know, you got 2 of the best guys on this side of the state. You know, with Pennington, the Clemson commit, and then Dallin Hayden, a junior. I would love to see Giamo in there. I think he's had an exciting year for a running back. You know, I think he should have been there, and maybe the defensive guy from Collierville, maybe his name should have been mentioned. But Pennington and Dallin Hayden, you can't go wrong with the county with the Shelby County school system not playing. You know, it's hard to figure who would have been in or who not. But you know, when you don't play, it's easy to say well nobody. And so, but Pennington and Dallin Hayden, two fine young men. You know, Pennington's had the tougher road, but you know, Dallin Hayden is a football family background. His dad, Aaron Hayden from Tennessee, and playing in the pros with the Chargers, and then his brother, playing in the SEC and then transferring to East Carolina. So he's got the stock inside him. And congratulations to both staffs, and congratulations to the both young men and their parents.
Glenn,
you're seeing early schedules next year for teams that missed out on this year, so you can tell they're itching to play next year. I can't ever remember high school football schedules being released in December or November before the next year.
I didn't even know they were doing it.
There's a bunch. Central released today.
Instead,
yeah,
we got Ridgeway back on the schedule and picked up Germantown, and so the coaches I know are excited about getting schedules, done for next year. Let's hope we got this pandemic under control with a vaccination, so these young men and these coaching staffs and the parents can enjoy it.
I'm into that, Glenn Rogers. Great.
Thank you, man.
Luck to you tonight. Hope you can make it to the December 3rd championship game. That would be beautiful. You owe those guys one. Go get them.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys, and go Tigers, go tomorrow.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you.
Well, just 2 other games I want to touch base with you real quick. Oxford is 10-0, and they are playing Hernando tonight. Hernando, kind of the last of the Mississippi schools from around here, still in it. Oxford, I think, is the big favorite.
I think Jason Munns is covering that game. We should have asked him about it.
Yeah,
Oxford undefeated.
Yeah, but we wish Hernando the best of luck. And then I know you're going to Maumelle and Wynn. And, Wynn's kind of in our region.
Yeah, Wynn undefeated. D'Angelo Williams, proud alma mater.
Yeah,
Heck,
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
are they favored to win the game?
They should be, but undefeated. I saw them earlier this year against a good Morrilton team that is advanced in the playoffs. And I texted you earlier. When I saw them that night, I thought really, really, really good. I didn't know if it was go for it year. But, heck, when you're undefeated and you're playing on Friday night the 20th, heck, go for it.
Yeah. You're absolutely right about that. No question about it.
No time to wait, is it?
No, none at all. No time to wait because the weekend's almost here to get to see my friend, the Connors, Eddie Connor, his daughters. They're there at the Spirit Shop. You know where that is by now. That's right down from Clark Tower, Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar to be exact. I can't wait till things loosen up a little bit so we can go back in there and do a remote. I love seeing Eddie, and I love watching him go to work, figuring out how to put all the product he has into this space. You would love, if you were a spatial engineer, just love to watch Eddie Connor go to work. But here's the thing. He's got all that product. He knows everything about it. You got any questions about bourbons, like rare bourbons like Pappy's? Oh, yeah, he'll know all the stories about that, or vodkas, or tequilas. He has this great background and understands and explains it all to you. Why this might be this price and why this might be that price. Same thing with wines. And by the way, if you've got a special wine you've been looking for, can't find it anywhere, ask Eddie. He'll find it for you. And if it's legal for him to bring it in, he'll do it. I promise you. If there's beer, he's got it. If it's accessories like something to rim a glass, he's got that. There's nothing that is involved with spirits that Eddie doesn't know about or have in that little log cabin. So go see him as we get set for the weekend. Head on over to the Spirit Shop. We've got another team in South Dakota. We'll tell you who it is in just a minute.
Sports 56 mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane. Weekday mornings from 7 till 10 on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Football season is in full swing, which means Hulu has live sports. You can watch your favorite players like Baker Mayfield on Hulu Plus Live TV. Get access to over 65 live channels, plus the largest streaming TV library, including exclusive originals and the hottest shows and movies. Start your free trial today so you don't miss a moment. Live TV plan required. Restrictions apply. Learn more at Hulu.com.
All 36-month leases, $31.49 due at signing, 0 security deposit, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $6.50 acquisition fee, Forte, LE 242-174, MSRP 20,505, sold, M7755, 682, MSRP 20,315, K5, MG 003-199, MSRP 25,725, K900, MSRP 65,610, L60-26,907, L60-21,220, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit offer valid through 11/30/2020, dealer stock only, warranty is a limited powertrain warranty, see Kia.com or retailer for details.
It's time for the Kia Holiday Sales Event and time to command the season in your new ride from Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. 2020 Kia Forte, just $133 a month lease. 2021 Kia Soul, only $148 a month lease. Plus 2021 Kia K5, only $189 a month lease. And they're all 36 months, $31.49 due at signing. And don't miss the 2020 Kia K900. We got it at $10,000 off MSRP. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMoriah.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Hey, Dave Woloshin here. I want to talk to you about my good friends at PrestoShutters.com. They're open right now, and prices don't get any cheaper for window replacement, window treatments, exterior shutters, inside plantation shutters, roller shades, blinds, whatever window fashion you need, they've got. Amazing deep discounts, including installation. Everything you need is American-made. Visit PrestoShutters.com or call them at 901-244-7484. That's 901-244-7484.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Cruising through our Friday, Wolo, Stats, and Drew with all of you. Hope it's going to be a great one. Hope you get ready to watch a lot of football tomorrow, and hopefully we're going to watch a lot of basketball and eat turkey. And here's the newest that's going to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I'm amazed. I really am. Western Kentucky is the new team in the crossover mowers tourney in Sioux Falls. So the way I see this is the very first game is going to be West Virginia and Northern Illinois, Iowa. And then Memphis and St. Mary's. Then, so those are the four on that side. The other side now is South Dakota State and Utah State. And then Wichita State and Western Kentucky.
So who's the favorite? If we have it, we play.
I would have to say West Virginia is the favorite because – what are they, 12th or 14th preseason in the country?
15,
15? Okay. I know they're in the teens for sure. and
Bob Huggins.
And
that's a lot of cachet.
Sure. I don't think people quite yet know what Memphis has. And you know what? I mean, they might not have all that they thought. They thought at this point you would have Cisse for sure, and I don't know if he's going to make the trip until they hear by unless they hear before Monday. We know Isaiah Stokes is not part of this, and that was originally going to be a part of it. And DeAndre
I wouldn't
Williams.
I wouldn't poke at that IARP 2 years in a row.
No. And then you've also, you thought that DeAndre Williams would be a part of this mix.
Sure.
And so now you're talking about DeAndre Williams, Cisse, and Stokes. There's three big guys you thought you were so deep with that might not make this trip. We know one. We know for sure one's not going to.
I love that Jason Munn says the two guarantees are Jeffries and Nolly, and I think this could just be the blockbuster year for DJ.
I think it will be. One of the things that Penny was saying last year was in the middle of the year before he got hurt, he was going, we found our go-to guy, and we're going to start playing that way. And the go-to guy was going to be DJ Jeffries. Once there was no Wiseman, they decided that was the guy. And then, of course, once he was gone, and it really worked out well for Precious Achiuwa, I can promise you that. Precious was the
tax
guy.
bracket.
Look, if here's the real truth is
the tax bracket.
If James Wiseman doesn't leave the team, Precious Achiuwa is probably back in Memphis this year.
Probably so.
He averages double-double because not only is there no Wiseman, then there's no DJ Jeffries. And we all know, I mean, this is simple math. If you got five guys out there, somebody's going to score because you're always going to score somewhere between 70 and 100 points in a college basketball game in this day and age. Somebody's going to get those numbers. And Precious got them. And that's not to say Precious doesn't belong as the 20th pick in the NBA draft. There are people, I'm reading stuff online where people are saying, Pat Riley stole Precious Achiuwa. It's a great pick. And they're right. He is going to be really good.
Did.
But guess what? If he didn't have the ball and became the center of attention, that would not have happened. If Wiseman had been there and
no rain,
DJ
no
Jeffries,
rainbows.
that's right. But it worked out for Precious, and it worked out for the U of M because now you got two guys that both make the first round, and they both gave absolute publicity in the most positive way to Penny Hardaway in this program. So we should be grateful for all of that.
What about Lester Quinones? Where's he fit in, especially early, especially next week?
I think Lester's a pretty special guy. I really do. I think Lester, I was sort of surprised that, he didn't have him as a for certain. Because as I look at this team, I know Nolly and Jeffries.
It stood out.
I thought Nolly and Jeffries, absolutely, they were both named second team all-conference, right? So, and as I mentioned, Penny was going to make him the go-to guy last year. I don't think any of that has changed. I thought for sure Lester is in that mix. And Cisse, of course, if he's eligible. There's the four guys I thought were for sure. And I'll be honest with you, as I was trying to figure this out and not necessarily talking with Penny, because when I asked Penny point blank on the air here, he goes, well, I don't know yet. And I think he was serious.
That's what practice is for. I understand
Penny
that.
Is honest to a fault. So I really believe him.
And Dave, I think one of the smartest answers out there is when you don't know, say you don't know.
Right. But I was shocked when Jason said it was going to be ALO. And
I think we're going to get some new or some old terminology back used a lot this year. I think RPI will matter. I think strength of schedule will matter. And the Tigers with a 2-1 or a 3-0 South Dakota, and then at least that would leave what?
Well,
four more non-conference games. You go 3-1 or 4-0 in that. You've done a lot of work to work on RPI and impressing the committee, and then into the grind of the conference.
Well, here's the issue for Memphis. I mean, they if they're really going to look at RPI, they absolutely have to beat a St. Mary's team that lost three of their top players. Okay, so that kind of helps. Then the West Virginia game, provided they beat Northern Iowa, and West Virginia, as you said, you're right, they're 15th. If you beat West Virginia, okay, now you've really got a darn good resume builder.
You've done some work.
Because
You
really,
have.
on the other side, there's nobody that's really going to help you. South Dakota State is not going to. I don't believe Utah State is going to. Wichita State, you're going to play twice anyway. And then Western Kentucky, I don't really think that is going to help you all that much.
Do not want to see run into Wichita State in South Dakota. Well, going to see them plenty.
Look who you lost on that side. You lost Utah on that side. You lost Creighton on that side. Wichita State was on that side, and who I'm trying to remember who the fourth one was.
Well, you lost the Bahamas.
Well, the Bahamas was a whole different thing. That was Duke was in that, and there were a lot of great teams in that. That was a much better field. Oh, A&M, but A&M was on the Memphis side, so it's really tough. You've lost some things, and now you're talking about, well, Ole Miss would be a big win, and Auburn would be big wins. If you get those, then you've made your resume, and as long as you finish in the top 2 or 3
neither
in
would
your
be
conference.
Killer losses.
No, they're not going to be killer losses. The one thing you can't lose to Mississippi Valley State, probably can't lose to St. Mary's. Got to win 2 out of 3 in South Dakota.
Greg Gasson just texted me. Thank you, Greg. He says he thinks they moved West Virginia to the opposite side of Memphis in that bracket. So the rejuggle is out there.
Then they would have to change the whole bracket. I haven't seen that happen yet. I'm not saying Greg is wrong, and we appreciate Greg listening and sharing with us. But at this point, the Tigers are playing the winner of West Virginia, Northern Iowa, and that is an 11 a.m. game.
He thinks they just did it. Like momentarily.
Oh, they just did. Well,
moments ago, yeah.
We'll double check, then we'll have to see what the bracket setup is.
Drew, get on the hunt.
Yeah. Google crossover mowers.
I'm on their website right now, and I'm looking at it.
We'll double check. We'll have that
Get
answer
a number
for
and
you
call
in a minute. I'll let you know. This portion of the show is brought to you by James Davis Menswear in the Laurelwood Shopping Center, the definitive men's store in Memphis. There's a lot of reasons why. I mean, from the service to these people, to the commitment they have to all of their customers, to free tailoring almost all of the time. But it starts with the Stance shirts and pants. That's the newest custom fitting system, and the only place you can find that in the entire city of Memphis is at James Davis Menswear. This is where you go in. You get 3 different measurements taken. 15 seconds, 20 seconds. Then a week later, for $98, you got a shirt that's custom fit like none other. I'm serious. The measurements, the way they feed it into the computer, the algorithm. I've had custom-made tailored shirts where they took like 25 measurements. This stuff fits better than anything I've ever tried. They do now do the same thing with pants for $168. The only place you can get it, James Davis Menswear. In the Laurelwood Shopping Center. Paul Batenley suits, they still have that same deal. 2 for $7.95. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to look good on these Zoom calls. Nobody can make you look sharper than the Paul Batenley suits. And then they've got plenty of sweaters and pullovers for eating outside from Peter Millar and Johnny O. It just makes sense. You get a little warmer, still feel comfortable, and you're safe. James Davis, they're looking after you with that Stance system and a whole lot more. And the holidays are coming. There'll be a holiday sale coming your way. We'll be talking about that in the next couple of weeks. James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center is something very special. We take this quick time out, back with hour number 3 in just 1 minute. When we come back, our friend Andy Schiffman, our agent in Chicago, he's next.
Spend the holidays at home this year with a little help from Family Leisure. Family Leisure has so many spas in stock and hundreds more on order. Now's your time to really save big. Huge savings on pool tables, game tables, arcades, massage chairs, and a whole lot more. Buy a pool now and save the 2021 price increase. Plus, you'll get early installation scheduling. The Holidays at Home sale happening now at Family Leisure, Whidden Road at I-40, where family and fun come together for the holidays.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Brian Smith, we love the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis.
Thanks, Stats. The fall months are always the best time to shop for both new and pre-owned cars. We're right in the middle of model year end change. The 2020s have got to go to make room for the new 2021 models, and we continue to trade for the best pre-owned cars in the city, all makes and models.
Service is one of y'all's hallmarks.
Our award-winning service department is adhering to all socially distanced safety precautions.
You can experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
All right, tomorrow's Tennessee game against Auburn, it will be big. It was already big, but we've made the stakes even bigger because FanDuel Sportsbook, they're adding to the action with a special Spread the Love line boost. For every 250 fans who bet on Tennessee to cover, FanDuel will move the point spread by 1 point in Tennessee's favor. So as long as we keep betting it, the more points Tennessee keeps getting. And best of all, FanDuel will pay you based on whatever the line is at kickoff, so you don't have to wait to get in on the action. FanDuel giving away money with this offer. Absolutely have to take it. Last week, Vandy got bet up to plus 87.5. Tell your friends so the line just gets bigger. It absolutely is free money. Milwaukee and Philadelphia down in the NBA bubble, the 76ers opened at plus 8.5. It got bet up to plus 59.5. Indiana and Michigan State last year in college basketball opened IU plus 2.5, ended plus 118.5. So if you already have a FanDuel Sportsbook account, just look for the Spread the Love market to place your bet. If you've been holding out, what are you waiting for? Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started. Must be 21 and present in Tennessee. Must wager in designated crowdfunding market. Max wager $50. Payment at minus 110. Issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Terms apply. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789. Andy Shipman will talk NBA with us after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour, and that's our friends on Goodman Road at 5704 Goodman Road at DeSoto Auto Sales. Happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving from them to everyone in our listening area. Proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. Down on Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience, laid-back atmosphere. You're treated like family, kind, courteous employees. They care about your time. They want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience because they know we are living in a world today that time matters. You walk in, find the car you want, deal with your sales rep, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork completed, all that, 45 minutes or less in time to do it over your lunch hour or like right now, immediately after work. Every make, every model down there. Check out the website at DeSotoAutoSales.com. All the happy referrals. And look at all those beautiful cars at 5704 Goodman Road at DeSoto Auto Sales. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
So we thank our friend Greg Gaston for alerting us, and now we have found it, and we thank John Rothstein, who is putting this out here. We do have an updated bracket for the crossover Sioux Falls, South Dakota tournament, which, by the way, Rothstein says could still be amended. But the way it's looking now, Memphis will still be in that same time slot at 3:30 on Wednesday, and they're still going to play St. Mary's. The first game now is no longer West Virginia and Northern Iowa. It is now Northern Iowa, Western Kentucky. followed by St. Mary's and Memphis, then Utah State, Wichita State, and then West Virginia, South Dakota State. So if Memphis were to beat St. Mary's, what do you think? Northern Iowa probably is the better team between Northern Iowa and Western Kentucky. So
that's a good team. And Dave, in this wacky, zany year, that bracket could change 2 more times before tip-off Wednesday.
Yep. And now West Virginia is going to take South Dakota State on in their last game. So you'd probably I don't know the better team between Utah State, Wichita State. Let's just say it's Wichita State, although they don't have a coach and they've lost a lot of players, but there is some talent there. And if Memphis were to probably play West Virginia, because they're the overwhelming favorite now on that bottom side, West Virginia would play them on Friday in the championship game, because you got to figure they're going to be in that deal. Yep. Interesting.
Oh, buddy Bob Huggins.
The bottom line is we still got a tournament. That's
music
obviously the way it sure seems to be heading. Let us bring in from Chicago our good friend Andy Schiffman. And we'll be talking to him a whole bunch again here in the next month or two, because December the 22nd, we do it all again. The NBA will be back in action. We really got a sense of that because we had the draft, and Memphis had 2 in the first round, number 2 overall to Golden State, and that's James Wiseman, and then, of course, Precious Achiuwa at number 20 to Miami, and the Grizzlies traded up, and I thought did a pretty good job. So, Andy Schiffman, you tell us, who did well in this draft? Who do you think missed the mark?
Well, thanks for having me on, coinciding with the official start of free agency, so things are quite chaotic over here, not much rest between the draft and right into free agency.
Right.
But you hit the nail on the head. The Grizzlies did a great job because they landed 2 of my clients, Xavier Tillman and Killian Tilly, on a 2-way. They got a great shooter from TCU and Desmond Bain. And I love what they're doing with their roster. They are just surrounding Ja and Jaren with more and more highly effective perimeter shooters, which is great. Killian Tilly from Gonzaga, who I mentioned I represent, of course I'm biased, he would have been a top 20 pick had he not had a lot of injuries and a lot of injuries that sidelined him here and there throughout his course of the career at Gonzaga, but nothing that kept him out for a full season. And so he is an extremely, extremely talented big man who can stretch the floor, shoot it highly effectively from 3. He can pass, dribble, shoot for a big, beyond skilled. Xavier Tillman complements him just as well at the 4 spot. He can guard multiple positions, extremely high character, hard worker, very blue collar, shot blocker, rebounder, fits the grit and grind mode of the Grizzlies. And I mentioned Desmond Bain, the Grizzlies' first pick there, big-time shooter from TCU, north of 40% from 3. And I like what the Grizzlies are doing, just surrounding these guys with shooters. So I think they did great. I do like the Heat pick at 20 getting Precious. I kind of called that amongst our staff a few picks before. I think he fits there very, very well with their staff. And quite honestly, I think a guy that probably wasn't projected quite as high as 4, maybe in the top 10 somewhere, that the Bulls grabbed from Florida State, the extremely athletic, a little bit raw Patrick Williams. I think he's going to be an extremely impressive big-time player, maybe in a couple of years. He's still very young, but he's going to be really exciting to watch. He's an extremely, extremely strong defender, extremely versatile scorer, and extremely athletic, and just needs to kind of polish off other areas of his game. So I like what they did. I think there was I'm still kind of reeling from all the trades that happened on draft night, and have my notes in front of me and just my chicken scratch everywhere trying to fill out who picked what player, which picks traded hands. So there was a lot of movement, and it seems like the Thunder added about half of the NBA to their roster, and they're going to have some work to do to cut some guys down with all the movement they've had over the last 2 days.
And the player out of Gonzaga that you represent, it almost, and we hope so, it feels like Brandon Clark all over again. We hope that's the case.
No, absolutely. And look, Killian played with Brandon, so they were already very close. And those two know how to play. And I think a lot of times players really don't get too excited when they see their team sign a player to a 2-way contract, because the assumption is that player is going to spend the majority of time in the G League. However, in this next 2021 season, Brett, the rules are a bit different. And without getting too far into semantics, there is no G League season right now. They don't know what's going to happen with that. And so the hope is for a player like Killian to be able to spend, and Sean McDermott for that matter, who was the other two-way that the Grizzlies picked up on draft night, that they will be able to spend every day with the Grizzlies, because prior to this season, there was a restriction on the number of days a player on a two-way contract could spend with the NBA parent team, and it was 45 days. Now there is no restriction. So a player like Killian can be there with the Grizzlies. It's basically an extended roster spot. They can utilize him in up to 50 games, which is great. And so had a lot of conversations with Zach really over the last several years about their interest in Killian. And I know they watched him very closely. And Taylor and I spoke quite a bit. He spoke to Killian when it came down to it. And I think to experience that level of extreme interest in a player like Killian and know that he was someone they targeted is great to know if you're Killian Tilly going into a city like Memphis and a team, knowing that they covet him just like they do one of their first-round picks or any other draft pick for that matter. So he is not a player that the Grizzlies are looking at as a developmental piece that maybe blossoms into something 3 or 4 years down the road. I believe absolutely Killian's going to be a guy to come in and be able to contribute right away. He's just fully polished. He was a senior at Gonzaga, lights out three-point shooter. And like I mentioned, the guy can pass. He's got a high basketball IQ, great feel for the game. So I think the Grizzlies are going to get a lot of the value for a player that went undrafted that signed a two-way contract with them.
I will tell you, I raved about that pick. I loved that kid when I watched him play. I did not know he was represented by you, so congratulations. And I do think that is a great get. And I want to go back. I did not realize this new, I think they call them Exhibit 10 contracts. Mm-hmm. I did not realize in a 72-game season, they're going to be allowed to play 50 games. That is amazing. And I guess they're doing this because they're worried about COVID. And so if guys have cases, they want to have plenty of guys that have the flexibility to be used. So that makes
exactly
sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's actually on a two-way, not an Exhibit 10. So that's something a little bit different, but exactly right. So previously, like I mentioned, if you're Killian Tilly getting drafted last year by a team on a two-way or signing on a two-way, you are limited to the number of days you can spend with an NBA team, which is 45. And you're talking about in that 45-day period, maybe getting to play maximum, call it 30 roughly games, depending on the schedule. And so now the rules are such that a player like Killian will be able to play up to 50 games with the Grizzlies during the season. And if there is another player on the two-way, which the Grizzlies have in McDermott, and they had an open roster spot, which I don't think they will. I think they're probably going to have 15 when it's all said and done. But if they had an open roster spot and a team has two players on two ways, then the limit between the two combined is, I believe, 80 games. But assuming the Grizzlies fill the 15th roster spot, they'll be able to play up to 50 games. So it truly is an extended roster spot, just to your point. If you have a player go down with COVID, there's no more, well, let's bring up the player from the G League. How many days have you spent with us already? Can we do that? What's the deadline? I mean, that's all out the window now. And so the Grizzlies got a steal in Killian, and I also like Sean McDermott as well, big-time shooter out of Butler, two guys that can come in and contribute. And I do like how they're constructing the end of this roster, just adding shooters.
Andy, I sure want you to speak for yourself, but it sounds like you're nicely saying this year the two-way is going to be more of a one-way.
Yes. The only downside from an agent standpoint is, look, it tends to kind of hurt veteran players who might want to sign 1 year minimum or 2 year minimum deals, because if a team now has the luxury of signing a younger player for half the cost, there's a limit, about $450,000 that a player on a two-way can make, which is significantly less than an NBA minimum for a veteran. If a team can say, well, let's just go the route of a two-way, and he'll be able to play 50 of the games, and he will be able to be with us throughout the whole season, I would just rather use that mechanism than go out there and commit a minimum, which might be more than double the price of a two-way player salary, and really probably get the same contribution for him. So for a player like Killian, I'm definitely a fan. For some other veteran players, it's definitely not favorable. But I think time will tell how teams decide to use these players on two ways. But just to your point, it definitely benefits teams, because unlike other seasons, you can look at this season as teams being able to have 17 guys on their roster and utilize all 17 with the exception of 20, maybe 20 games at the end of the year or 20 games throughout the season.
What did you think about Achua to Miami and Wiseman to Golden State? Because those both seem like perfect fits for me.
They are, and I think first they with Precious to Miami, they are really trying to focus on bringing back all their guys. They're going to re-sign Goran Dragic, which was just announced on a 2-year deal. They've got Solomon Hill, who I would not be shocked if they let him walk. They obviously have some other decisions to make. And Jay Crowder, Derek Jones Jr., Myers Leonard, Udonis Haslem has a job there for life if he wants it. But I think everyone saw how the way Miami succeeded in the playoffs, just how they moved the ball, how good they were defensively. And Precious, I think his calling card coming into the league right away is his defensive versatility, ability to defend multiple positions, his athleticism, ability to protect the rim at his size. And so he really fits the way they play. And I know they were on him for quite some time. I'm sure they did not think he would fall to them. So I think it's a great fit from a chemistry standpoint. He's going to be able to come in and contribute right away. And look, Miami has one of the best developmental programs for young players in the NBA. They have proven that with Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson and Kendrick Nunn. And so to be able to add a player who really is going to need that development from an offensive standpoint over the course of the next 2 years of his young NBA career, it is a perfect fit. And we talked about James Wiseman. I think we all kind of saw that he was probably going to be going to Golden State, and I'm not surprised by that. I think it's a great fit. Our guy Steve Kerr is going to get a stud and be able to coach him. Obviously, they were hurt with Klay Thompson's torn Achilles, who's going to be out for another season, which is just devastating news for any basketball fan across the board. But I think James for sure, whichever team James went to, he's going to be able to step in and contribute right away. And they're going to have a couple roster spots still, 1 or 2 here, depending on what happens, to be able to play with in free agency. They're probably going to try and add some veteran pieces, but they're definitely going to give James a platform to go out there and play and contribute right away.
Andy, I don't want to get you in trouble with the 29 you're not going to name, but what one draft room and organization and their handle on a draft really gets your attention?
Well, it's a tough call. I've always loved how...
Or a couple. Give me a couple.
Yeah. First off, I do love Memphis, and it's not just because I'm from Memphis. I mean, this business, I have to be objective, but I just like the way they are. The front office there is very meticulous. They're very thorough. They vet everything out, and I think a lot of times basketball fans just look at, well, let's just go and take the most talented player. But you have to factor in character. You have to factor in who these players had around them in their upbringing. Let's talk to their family members, coaches, brothers, sisters, cousins, people that they interact with on a daily basis around the school and the academic advisors. I mean, a team like Memphis and a lot of teams really go the extra mile and have these conversations to truly dig in and learn about how much one can predict, which is difficult to do. How will this player fit with our organization from a culture standpoint? And there are a lot of times where you've seen in the past highly, highly talented players that are projected as top picks when they land on a college campus. And one comes to mind recently, Diamond Stone, who was not in the NBA. I think at one point he was thought of going to Maryland as a top 5, top 10 pick. And just from even myself, many conversations, I think, not to speak badly about someone I don't know, I think a player's reputation precedes him. And I think that can tend to get lost in this business on the player side. But from the team side, it's hugely important who you're investing money in and who you're adding to your organization, knowing that you're talking about a group of young men that will be with each other more than their own family. And that absolutely has to come into play on decision night on draft day. And so I love what Memphis has done just from a chemistry standpoint and kind of building this core. And I love Milwaukee the same way. I mean, Milwaukee was able to get some great picks. They made some great maneuvers. And they're another organization. I've talked about it before, and I think it carries over into draft night. The culture in that organization and how they operate and how they run things. So I would say those two come to mind. And also you look at a team like Toronto, same thing. They're big on fit. They're big on culture. They're big on trying to take young talent and develop them. You've seen that in Fred VanVleet. You've seen that in Pascal Siakam. It's great to sit there and hit a home run and have a top 3 draft pick every year, but majority of the league doesn't have that luxury. And so you really have to strike it rich in building a great roster top to bottom, and that goes so far beyond just getting the most talented players. And the last one, obviously, as I'm talking through it, an obvious one is a Miami, is a Denver. You've seen that maturation over the last couple of seasons with those two organizations.
You mentioned Milwaukee. It sure seems like they were doing everything they can to please Giannis. So this is two parts. What happened with the Bogdanovich deal? Why did that go awry? And do you think they've done enough where Giannis will extend his contract for the max in Milwaukee?
Well, sure. I really can't comment on the first just because it's not really a player I represent, and I don't want to get involved with tampering. I mean, I think generally the suspicion was there tampering between the agent and the teams involved in terms of potentially talking about signing a free agent before the deadline, before the appropriate time to do so here coming up in a couple days begins, and just so everyone knows. So now agents and players and teams are able to start negotiating, but contracts and free agents cannot officially be signed until Sunday. And so now if you scroll through Twitter throughout the next 48 hours, you're going to see tons and tons of reported signings, but nothing can be official until Sunday. And anything before that is not supposed to be happening. And so I think it all centers around that. But I do think, to your second question, Dave, I do tend to think Giannis will stay in Milwaukee. If they're able to get a couple of their free agents that they're targeting, whether it's through a free agent signing, whether it's through a trade or sign and trade, it seems like the reported names that might be ending up in Milwaukee are great additions. And I do believe they're additions that are attractive enough to want to keep Giannis in Milwaukee for the long haul.
All fascinating. There is no question about that. And I'm really pleased. I'm pleased. It was a big night for Memphis because the Grizzlies got what they wanted. They were really aggressive. They went after the guys, targeted the guys, went after them, and got them. And it was a great night for the Tigers, and for that matter, for Penny Hardaway with all the positive pub that he got.
Absolutely.
Andy, thank you much, my friend. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Are you going to be here, or are you going to be in Chicago?
I'll be in the office. Hopefully, during free agent, well, hopefully not, because that means we got all our free agents signed. But no, I'll be here in Chicago. It's just tough to kind of get away in this time with the free agency starting up.
Well,
but y'all have a great Thanksgiving as well.
You too, and maybe in a couple of
Thank
weeks
you.
when all the movement has been made, we'll have you analyze all of that for us too. Thank you, my friend.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks a lot.
That is our friend
Thank you,
Andy
Andy.
Schiffman in Chicago. As he has a lot of respect for the Grizzlies organization, their front office. You heard him say that, and that's pretty darn cool that he feels that way. And it's not because he's from Memphis. Now, he does have a couple of clients that are playing there, but he's going to be upfront about it. And
but he looks under the hood of all the teams.
Sure does. Makes you feel pretty good about what's going on.
It's his job. Hey, speaking of looking under the hood, it's the best time of the year to be down in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. They've got all the new All-Star Chevrolet Silverados or Tahoes or one of the perfect new Suburbans. And, I mean, they are perfect. Something to drive, something to ride in. Here's the deal. We asked All-Star Chevrolet to get what everybody wants for the holidays, and they did it. They got them. Seriously, though, they will get you one of these vehicles really fast. Come down to Olive Branch this week, if you can, and they'll get you in one of these beautiful new cars, 2020s, 2021s, All-Star Chevy with more new Silverados, lots of new third-row seating, Traverse, and you can still get thousands, quite literally thousands in cash back. If you want pre-owned, Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, that's the place to be. All-Star Chevy, certified pre-owned Chevys are the best selection I've seen anywhere. Remember, it's not South Haven, it's not Mount Moriah, it's not Collierville, it's not the Pike. It's got to be Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. Everyone at All-Star, one job. Make sure you have more fun, get the best deal on what you want, and do it in record time. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy on Kraft Goodman Road in Olive Branch or online at allstarautogroup.com.
Today we just saw Stanford and Washington State. We didn't have that in our Football Friday forecast. That game now postponed, as is
out
the San Jose State and Fresno State. So two games.
San Jose State's undefeated.
2 games today, postponed or canceled. That is 17 for this week, 15 last week, so that's 32. I want to say it's about 80 games in total since we all started. trying to play football?
Running now at about 80% played, about 79, 80% played, 20, 21% canceled. And the Ole Miss A&M game that was scheduled for tomorrow, it was canceled over one asymptomatic positive case. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the rumors are that it was Kellen Mond.
Well,
and they did not want to play with a backup quarterback.
They didn't want to play with a backup quarterback, and apparently that was okay with the SEC. I think that has to be okayed by the commissioner, and so that's the way it worked. But what I'm thinking,
Mississippi State will play tomorrow under the 53-man roster. You don't have to, but you can.
So they decided they wanted to go for it. Listening to the other night, was it last night that I was listening to Lane Kiffin with David Kellum?
You were? Last night?
Yeah, there's no question in my mind that Lane Kiffin wants to keep playing. So some guys are all about playing, and I've got the feeling, and I don't know this for a fact, but just by the way he was speaking, that if he was down to 53, or let's just say that he lost Matt Corral, he'd go, I got Plumlee, we're playing. I want to play. And that obviously was
badly
not the
wants
case
to.
With A&M.
I'm not going to say the game because it would sound like an excuse for the loss, but it was a loss. But there was a game this year that Ole Miss was under the threshold in one position grouping and real close in another, and he said, we're playing. If we got to play a nose guard in the secondary, we're playing.
Wasn't that the Arkansas game?
I'm not mentioning the game.
Okay. I kind of remember that might have been it, but I could be wrong. But here's the last thing on this. So 17 this week, 15 last week, 32 of about 80. You're talking about 3/8 of the postponed games now that we've seen. 3/8 of them have occurred, almost half, in the last 2 weeks.
And there's more next week.
And there will be more next week for sure. Hopefully not Memphis, which is now, as you know, is scheduled to go to Navy for the moment. Anyway.
Lightly shaded pencil schedules this year.
Lightly shaded for sure. Oh, what a good weekend. What a day it was today. If you could have gone out and played golf, what a day. I think it's supposed to be tomorrow. Watch the Tigers go out and play quick 18. That's not a bad way to go. And if you're going to do that, then go find the latest equipment. Start thinking about Christmas. What says golf better than Edwin Watts? You go see Jay Hasselman and all the crew. You will see somebody you know in there, because if it's about golf, it's at Edwin Watts. I like saying this. Years ago, you'd go to the country club. You knew the pro. He was going to provide you with your equipment. That's not the way it works now. The best prices, the latest equipment, all the new wrinkles, they all end up at Edwin Watts in this market. And Jay's like those pros. He knows how to help fit you. They've got people coming in half the time from Titleist or Callaway or TaylorMade. They will fit you on occasion. It's the place to go. They got all the latest everything for Christmas, for like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour for apparel. Every golf ball that's out there, from the Titleist Pro V1s and AVXs to the Callaway Chrome Softs to the Srixons, they are all there. They got great gift cards, too. Always a great buy for the holidays for your favorite golfer in your family, boy or girl, man or woman. Everybody loves the sport, and everybody loves the new Edwin Watts at Poplar and I-240. We take a quick time out. When we come back, it's time to pick, and we got a lot of games. Brett Norsworthy went nuts. We're picking so many games. He's trying to get back in this. He's trying to get past me. That's the reason.
I was scared we would have cancellations.
The reason for the volume. I said to him facetiously, I said, "You sure we got enough games for Friday?" He goes, "Yes." I don't think he caught my sarcasm.
I was scared of cancellations. It was why I threw so many games at us, and we could still have some right before kickoff. And Drew's going crazy. I'm sorry.
we could. We got to take the time out. Back in a minute with the first National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Corky's is the answer for your holiday feast. Turkey, hams, and all the fixins. Oh, by the way, try our new Southern Layer cakes. Order at Corky'sBBQ.com and save $5.
Another touchdown and another successful play-action pass pattern to sell another home in record time by Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. What people don't realize is that Sheldon's success wasn't luck, and it didn't come overnight. It took years of training and working out with weights to build the bulk necessary to help get the sellers through the goalpost, to the closing table, to win the game and sell their home in record time and to make everything they wanted. Yes, that's why people choose Sheldon as their quarterback, because, as people often say, when you want the job done, call Sheldon. Before you bet on a team to win, make sure and call or email the quarterback that's a proven winner and has a strategic marketing program with the play-action Shellbucks option. That can mean the difference in whether you sit on the bench for months and months or sell. Call or email Sheldon at 682-1868 or MemphisRelocate.com. That's Sheldon Rosengarten at 682-1868 or MemphisRelocate.com. Do it now.
All 36-month leases, $31.49 due at signing, 0 security deposit, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, LE 242-174, MSRP 20,505, sold, M7755, 682, MSRP 20,315, K5, MG 03199, MSRP 25,725, K900, MSRP 65,610, L60 26,907, L60 21,220, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit offer valid through 11/30/2020, dealer stock only, warranty is a limited powertrain warranty, see Kia.com or retailer for details.
It's time for the Kia Holiday Sales Event and time to command the season in your new ride from Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. 2020 Kia Forte, just $133 a month lease. 2021 Kia Soul, only $148 a month lease. Plus 2021 Kia K5, only $189 a month lease. And they're all 36 months, $31.49 due at signing. And don't miss the 2020 Kia K900. We got it at $10,000 off MSRP. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMoriah.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Time for the Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. For real estate, commercial, ag, hunting, and recreational, contact them at fnbt.com or 901-498-5763.
Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, they've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Nick Sutton, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis, 901-498-5763 or fnbtmemphis.com. That's fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I've had an account and been a friend my entire life. I know I'm for Indiana and Tom Allen tomorrow, but the big one, it starts the day really tomorrow on Fox, 11 o'clock, Ohio State, 20.5-point favorite in the Horseshoe against Tom Allen and the Hoosiers. I want to, but I'm not going to. Dave, give me the Buckeyes barely. They win by 21.
Wow.
42-21.
Well, if you are right and I am wrong and it's 21 on the money, I'm going to lose by a half a point. I really was going back and forth and I talked to a bunch of people about this game, and I do think Ohio State is clearly going to win the game. I think Indiana's for real. And I the thing that worries me is that Ohio State likes to run it up. I think Indiana is intense enough where that won't happen. I don't think they're going to beat them by 3 touchdowns. I think it'll be about a 14 to 17 point game. I'm going to say Indiana covers. Drew.
Our previous guest, alma mater, Andy Schiffman, a proud Hoosier.
Yeah,
Drew.
he sure is.
I'm with you, Dave. I'm going to take IU to cover. I think Ohio State wins, but like you said, defense actually will play a role in this game, unlike a lot of the other Ohio State games they've played this year. So I think they keep it within 14.
A game early tomorrow morning in Fayetteville. The line's been all over the place. The idea of the game has been all over the place. It has been it's official. They are playing. Arkansas hosting LSU. LSU a 2.5 point favorite. Give me LSU just because of the roster. I think Arkansas I know what Ed Orgeron's won, but I think Sam Pittman may be the better coach. But I think Ed Orgeron has the better roster. Give me LSU to lay the 2.5. Drew?
I'm going against you. I'm going with Arkansas at home against LSU. LSU just hasn't panned out this year the way that we thought that they would, and there's just so much going on around that program, so many outside distractions right now that I think will probably play a factor tomorrow's matchup. And Sam Pittman and that Hogs team is just disciplined and really good on defense, so I think wrong team favorite, Arkansas straight up.
I think you are on the money with that, Drew. Wrong team favored between the allegations of sexual misconduct between that and their hate of Bo Pelini. I mean, Bo Pelini is they just don't want to play for him. I think Arkansas is going to win this game, and I think they're going to win it easily. I think they win it by 10.
That gets them to 4 wins. If they do, that's almost worthy of tearing the goalpost down. All right, Dave, you pick first. Cincinnati in the big one in the AAC, laying the 6.5 over Central Florida, the once leader of the AAC against the team vying for it this year.
Well, Cincinnati,
Dave, who you like?
Cincinnati's the better team this year, and they were the better team last year. Remember, they were the first ones to solve the puzzle of Central Florida. So far this year, Tulsa has solved that puzzle. So has Memphis. Cincinnati is by far the better team. Now, I love the scheme they have. I love how quick they are. This Cincinnati team is really good. And they're not going to be able to just move that ball down the field at will. I think Cincinnati wins. They easily cover the 6.5. This is about a 12 or 14-point win for the Bearcats.
Drew?
I'm with Dave. I'm shocked that Cincy's only favored by 6.5 because I'd probably take Cincy all the way up to about maybe even a 17.5 point favorite. It's going to be a blowout. Central Florida, while they can score and can put up a lot of points, they just haven't faced a defense like Cincinnati that we all seen in person and know exactly what they bring on that side of the ball. So Cincy easy by, I'm going to say 21.
21?
Yeah. Oh, wow. What a horrible pick. Flag the tape on that one.
Poor Drew.
Poor Drew. UCF says to the AAC and to the national college football scene, not so fast. UCF at home, straight up, 38-35, and they derail Cincinnati from the AAC trying to get in the playoff. Give me UCF plus the 6.5. I don't need them. They win the game straight up. Auburn, 10.5 over Tennessee. Used to be a great rivalry. The SEC's ruined this like they have a lot of old rivalries. But Auburn pretty heavily favored over Tennessee. You know it means a lot to Jeremy Pruitt, both in the job he has now and from his upbringing, detesting the Auburn Tigers. Give me Jeremy Pruitt and give me Tennessee plus the points, but not to win the game. Auburn wins the game 28-24. Tennessee takes the cash.
You and I are on the opposite side on, I think, every pick so far. And I think Auburn's going to win this game. There's problems at Tennessee. I think that there are. I think we saw that quite early. And they still don't have a quarterback, and Auburn does. And I think Auburn's going to win this game by 2 touchdowns. They win and they cover.
This is honestly the hardest game of the week to pick for me because you got to try to figure out how is that week off last week against A&M going to affect Tennessee. Are they going to bounce back, rebuild, come back a little stronger and a little bit healthier? or have they just completely given up and Garantano's going to go out there and throw another 5 INTs and probably one of them will be a pick six to the house. And Auburn, they're so up and down. I don't know if they can beat anybody by 11 points. I originally had Auburn. I'm going to switch it to Tennessee. Auburn wins, but I don't think they get there to 11.
Drew, the classic all-time Tennessee homer, taking his Volunteers plus the 10.5
Man.
over Auburn.
So
Drew, I know you want to say, huh?
I'm a lone wolf on this one. That's all. I'm.
You are.
You all of us. Did you see his shirt just turned orange? If you're watching on,
I know it. Big Tennessee fan that Drew has always been. All right, Drew, give me your lock and your shock.
All right, I'll start with my lock. I'm going to go with the team the Tigers saw in the first week of the season, Arkansas State minus 4.5 at a pretty bad Texas State team. I think that's easy. Arkansas State Red Wolves easily get there. And my shock, I think this team could honestly win straight up. Rutgers plus the 12.5 at home against Michigan.
Wow.
Jim Harbaugh has lost that program. He has lost that fan base, and I think this is the final nail in the coffin that is Jim Harbaugh's career at the University of Michigan. So give me the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers.
You have lost your mind.
That Texas State game against Arkansas State, I think the 10th game of the year for Texas State. If Texas State can play 10, come on, everybody. We should have started earlier. I'm going to do – Dave, give me your lock and shock, and then I'll give mine.
All right, my lock is Coastal Carolina at home. They are this year's Appalachian State, and they're playing Appalachian State. Got to give away 5.5. App State's good. They're still really good. I think Coastal Carolina is special this year. I'm easily at home going to give away 5.5. Give me Coastal Carolina, and my shock is if you're giving me in Evanston at Dyke Stadium 7.5 points and Northwestern is really good, I'm taking it. I think Northwestern could be in for the upset run here, and I like them over Wisconsin. I'll take the Wildcats on the 7.5.
Love Pat Fitzgerald in that one at home in Evanston. Good pick, Dave. And you've been great this year on not only picking the Shocks to cover, but to win straight up for you. That's how you have the point advantage, even though you're down one overall pick. My college football shock, hard to believe we're into November and they hadn't won a game yet. A lot of reasons why. Mainly, when they do play, they haven't won. Penn State, give me the Nittany Lions plus 2.5 over Iowa as my shock. And in my lock, give me Georgia and lay the 25.5 over Mississippi State. It's just a matter of personnel tomorrow between the hedges, and it was always one of the great games when Jack Crystal would say, dogs versus dogs.
We do the NFL in a minute. I'll let you know this portion of the show brought to you by the good folks at Homer Skelton, Hyundai, and Genesis of Olive Branch. And a reminder, I've been telling you can afford a new G70. They got a couple on the lot because they're trying to bring in the 2021s. They got a couple of G70 2020s, 0% financing for 72 months. That is unheard of. But you've got a chance right now to own a G70, and there's not a better car in the world. I don't think there's better cars than Hyundai's or Genesis, period. And they all come with these warranties, a unlimited lifetime powertrain warranty. That's terrific right off the bat. Now every new car gets a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. All you got to do is get on Lamar, right down into Mississippi. It becomes Highway 78, and the very first exit's Craft Road, turn left. Go see my guys at Homer Skelton Hyundai. So I started off, I don't know, I'm over now because I'm 2-0 for the week with the Tulsa win last night.
I'm 2-0 for the week, baby.
And Seattle and Arizona, 1-1 for Drew.
Yeah, 1-1 for poor Drew. Back into our pro picks for our Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust. Division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas for commercial, ag, hunting, and recreational. Contact them at fnbt.com or 901-498-5763. Stable, secure, and solid. That's been them since 1886 at First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, and now in Shelby County and in West Tennessee, First National Bank and Trust. NFL. Minus 6.5. Drew's Baltimore Ravens over the Titans. Give me the Titans. Drew, I know who you have.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's in Baltimore. I'd feel a lot better, actually, if we were on the road in Nashville because we're much better of a road team for some odd reason, but I'll take the Ravens.
It doesn't matter where it's going to play. The Ravens are going to beat Tennessee. I don't think there's any doubt about that. In my mind, that defense slows down the running game of Tennessee, and that is it. Baltimore, easy, by 10.
Another one. I know who Dave's picking against. He's called it all week. Green Bay getting the 2.5. Indianapolis favored 2.5 over the Pack. I take Indy. Dave, I know who you take.
I'm taking Indy just like you. No question about it. I love that Indianapolis defense. And Phillip Rivers.
You hate Green Bay. That's what it is.
Well, there's part of that. I don't dispute that.
Drew?
I think wrong team favored. Packers win straight up.
Bold. Man. All right. Locks and shocks. Dave, you first.
Well, I'm going against my good friend Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet. He picked Philly to take Cleveland in this game. It's in Cleveland. They're only giving away 3.5. I don't believe in Philly at all. I don't believe in that coach. Plays for ties. I don't believe they've got it going at all. I think Cleveland, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Baker Mayfield, they've established a run game now. I like Cleveland. I'll give away the 3.5.
What if that tie ends up winning the division for them? Your shock.
My shock? Cincinnati is getting 1.5 at Washington. Washington? Really? Come on. Joe Burrow, are you serious? Shock is Cincinnati. Wrong team favored. Cincinnati wins the game by 7.
He's runaway rookie of the year. My lock, the Chargers minus the 8.5 over the Jets. The Jets remain winless, they remain 0 for the year. And my shock, give me the Texans plus 2.5 over New England. New England didn't get anything fixed. It was just a Band-Aid. Drew, your lock and shock.
My lock is the exact same game you just picked. Give me the Chargers minus the 8.5 over the Jets. And my shock, I'm gonna take the Raiders plus 8.5 versus the Chiefs. They got them the first time in Arrowhead Stadium. I think they can at least keep it close at their new palace out in the desert.
How many are you getting?
I'm getting 8.5.
8.5. Very nice.
Yeah.
That's our picks. We'll do Monday at 5:30 when we do Monday Night Football. But that's our picks for the week. Good luck to everyone.
Good luck to all of you. This portion of the show also brought to you by Supercuts. The Czech family owns all 15 Supercuts in the Memphis area, and they have taken great pains to make sure all 15 of those salons are safe, socially distanced, everything's clean. In fact, as a company, Supercuts realized there's nothing more important than the health and safety of all their employees, their team, and, of course, all of their communities and their customers. And that is why they have developed this thing called the Safe Salon Commitment, developed in partnership with the top infectious disease doctors that maximizes all the safety we're talking about, and then still a special way to sanitize all of the salons, all 15 in the Memphis area. They're ready. They've been cutting hair for a while now. They still will be cutting hair in a safe way. They're prepared to see you. You can learn more about the Safe Salon Commitment, and you can check out all 15 of those Memphis area Supercuts by going to supercuts.com. Back in a minute, we got Taco Bell Crunch Time. We'll put a wrap on what has been a very busy show of Sports Time on this Friday on Sports 56.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
Swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops this holiday season for the hottest gifts from Titleist. Featuring the Titleist TSI metals with an all-new aerospace titanium-based construction that's never been used before in golf. This new engineering pushes the boundaries of speed. TSI is faster in air and faster at impact to give you the longest, straightest, best-looking, best-sounding Titleist metals ever. Come into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, your holiday headquarters since 1968, and shop online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We can help you out and get you ready for the colder weather ahead. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
The Black Friday sales event is on at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on Covington Pike, and we're going to blow you away with what you save. 2020 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4-wheel drive IAHS top safety pick. We got it at $20,736 or $259 a month. Or power up your game in a 2020 Dodge Charger, $24,320 or $299 a month. And get rammed up in a 2020 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab 4x2, $29,656 or $396 a month. And 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x2, $29,878 or $398 a month. Drive past the rest. Come to the best. Gossett, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Fiat, 1901 Covington Pike. Online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All must finance through Chrysler, 3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.11 APR. Renegade, LPM 02132, MSRP 26,580. Charger, LH 167,053, MSRP 31,490. Tradesman, LG 29329, MSRP 37,855. Cherokee, LC 403,192, MSRP 35,495. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/2020 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, we hit fame. We beat you with the deal, we get in fame.
At the beginning of the show, I said happy birthday to the only Memphian in the Hall of Fame, the National Football Foundation Hall of Fame, and that was Bill Neely Mallory. Of course, Yale in the 20s. There's another guy who texts us quite a bit and is really an outstanding golfer and a historian of golf in the city of Memphis. His name is Dave Iron Byron Wells. He's now a member of Southwind. He will be 83. He always shoots under his age just about every time out. Congratulations to making that wonderful, beautiful age of 83, Dave Wells. We got Crunch Time coming your way in a minute. I'll let you know this final portion of the show is brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Team. They're standing by. Well, maybe not right now. It is Friday evening, and they're getting ready to go probably head to our friends at the Spirit Shop. But no, Eflin's there Monday through Friday, making sure that you're taken care of. They have a very nice approach. They sit you down. They find out about you so they can make sure you get the right program to fit your needs and your budget. That could be for home. That could be for auto. That can also be for commercial insurance. They do both personal and business, and they have virtually unlimited access to programs to protect you if you are a small or mid-sized business owner. And don't forget about life insurance. I got you covered there, too, with quotes from 15 different companies. Again, it goes back to what is your need, what is your budget. They find the right deal for you. All you got to do is make the call. 901-386-GUR. That's 386-4777. The GUR is because they're big Tiger fans. Again, 901-386-4777. Get protected the right way with the Eflin Insurance Team. It's crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
Boop!
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
On one, on two, on three. Hey!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. We all learned today the Tigers' 2020-2021 schedule. Glad to finally see it. Hope it can be completed. We know it's going to be some scratch outs and some additions and corrections and some revisions and things like that. That's these times we're in, but I'm glad we got the schedule out today.
We do. We got 27 games starting with next Wednesday in Sioux Falls, South Dakota against St. Mary's. We also learned today the Tiger football schedule has been reshuffled after tomorrow's game with the mighty Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin, which, by the way, they're in town. The Tigers will take on Navy the following Saturday in Annapolis. Then they'll go to New Orleans to play Tulane. They'll end the regular season, on the 12th with Houston. We also learned today Kentucky edged Tennessee in the SEC preseason poll, and Rick Barnes edged out John Calipari as the preseason coach of the year.
Could have done without. No NBA deal can be rumored or made without Kelly Oubre's name in it. I mean, he's in every deal, and he actually was in a deal. Kind of the new Courtney Lee. Courtney Lee was that for a long time, and then everybody learned that dealt for him. Courtney Lee just wasn't that good.
I could have done without this news. Couple things here. One, the P&H is moving. They have a new landlord, and I think he's sort of made it impossible. So the P&H actually has started a fundraising event on a Fund Me page to move from their location on Madison to Crossroads. And I must tell you, I spent many a night after a soccer game in my early youth at the P&H, so I'm going to miss that. The other thing, how about Taysom Hill getting the nod over Jameis Winston?
18 career passes.
He's only
18.
How about this? He's only had 142 career snaps at quarterback, and he's the guy over Jameis Winston? What does
And
that
he's
tell
30.
you? What does
He's
that tell
30.
you? What does that tell you about Jameis Winston, huh?
Yeah, it says a lot. Keeping a close eye on a lot this weekend. Tiger O-line play tomorrow at the Liberty Bowl. It feels like they got to really get in a good rhythm for this last end-of-the-year push. Also, the point spreads looks like it's going to be blowout Saturday in the SEC. Can UT be respectable against Auburn? It used to be a great rivalry. And 2 weeks in a row, no game on CBS at 2:30. That's hard to believe. And can the Steelers get to 10-0 for the first time in franchise history?
I think they sure can. That'll be fun to watch all of that. I do go back to, and I said this a little bit earlier, when it comes to Memphis and Stephen F. Austin, thank goodness they got the game because, look, they had an unexpected off week last week. They got
They need reps.
They got 3 big games coming up, and this is a team that will test them on how clean a game they can play, and can they learn to reestablish a running game. I hope there's the 10,500 or so that have been coming. This will be a good test for those hardcore Tiger fans. Will they come? It should be a beautiful morning, but will they come on a Saturday morning against a team like Stephen F. Austin? We shall see for sure. We want to thank Bruce Marshall. We want to thank Jason Munz. It's so good to hear his voice again, the beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. He will be with us every week now talking Tiger hoops. Glenn Rogers Jr., we wish the best for ECS MUS tonight because they're playing opposition from other places. Collierville and Bartlett, please all be safe. May the best team win. And we thank Andy Schiffman on a busy day. He gave us some time. We'll see you tomorrow at the Liberty Bowl. We'll talk to you again on Monday. For Brett and Drew, I'm Wallow. Have a great weekend, everyone.
For the one standing guard,